What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV here, back for another live stream for you guys this morning. And today we're going to be discussing the perfect weekend for Tottenham. Absolutely, it was a brilliant weekend. Obviously, our three main rivals in the top four race all dropping points. Arsenal losing at home to Brighton, Man United losing away to Everton, and West Ham losing away, was it away or at home, to Brentford? But either way, all three of them lost, with Tottenham picking up a 4-0 win against Aston Villa. So was it the most perfect weekend for Tottenham?
Tons of results. Couldn't have gone any better, could it? Absolutely brilliant in terms of the top four race, how we've now propelled ourselves into such a strong position. We're now 6 points ahead of Man United with a far better goal difference. Arsenal are getting results you didn't expect. You know, they've been so consistent before these past few games, and that was the whole point of Arsenal's running, that, you know, as long as they stay consistent, they could be within a chance of getting results in those more difficult games and put themselves in a good position. But at the moment, you know, with those more difficult games coming up, they need to get results in those now. And obviously, look, West Ham, I never really believed they were still in it. I think their loss to Brentford pretty much confirms that they're going to be not playing in Champions. Well, unless they win Europa League, they're not going to be in top four next season now, definitely. So it's all on us now. We just need to make sure that we stay consistent. And even though we might lose to Liverpool, you know, we got a difficult North London derby, if we could just win the games we should, that's it. It's within our grasp. It's in our hands, and we're the teams at the moment. We're the team at the moment has all the momentum, not just from results-wise, performance-wise as well. We're playing such brilliant football. Where anything that comes away, all the challenges we seem to be batting away at the moment, we're completely destroying teams. 4-0, 5-0. As you said, a month ago, Arsenal were 7 points better a goal difference than us.
Yeah.
And now we're 10 goals ahead of them after about 5 games.
It's a crazy turnaround. It's a crazy turnaround. And in that time, Arsenal had played 26 games. They were in the top four. 51 points they were on. We played 27 games. We were on 45 points. We were sitting in 8th in the league.
So we're 6 points behind them when they had a game in hand.
Yeah.
And now we're 3 points above them.
But not only that, we were also 7 goals behind them.
Yeah. I mean, it's mad how quickly it's all changed. 4 wins in a row. We found our form. And I think it's rightly a lot of fans are getting very, very excited with, the prospect. But now, as with the circumstance and the landscape changing in the top four race as quickly as it's done, it's also changed expectations. So it's gone from a miracle or Spurs being the underdogs, and all of a sudden, after a couple games, we're now the big favourites at this point.
Yeah, I was watching a video.
And it comes with different
night.
pressure.
I was watching a video last night from Rory, you know, the Chelsea fan Rory, and he did a little video about who are favourites for top four now. He completely wrote off Man United and West Ham, and they were talking about Spurs or Arsenal for the top four, and they went through to a few different people. It was what's his name from the United View, a few other different like YouTubers from around the community.
Oh, I saw this video. Yeah. Thogden and these.
Yeah,
people,
Thogden was in it, and basically every single person said Spurs, apart from this one Arsenal fan at the end who wanted to say Spurs, but he just couldn't bring himself to say Spurs.
So he said Arsenal, and that was before the Brighton game.
Yeah,
that was before the
exactly. That was before the Brighton game.
Yeah.
So I mean, after that Crystal Palace game, all of us were saying that Spurs are probably favourites now. But now, after this weekend, I think we're most definitely favourites now.
Yeah, and to be fair, look, if Arsenal keep pace with us, even keeping pace with us is going to be challenging for them with the fixtures they've got coming up. Their next 4 fixtures are Southampton away, Chelsea away, Man United at home, and then West Ham away. 4 very, very difficult fixtures where they probably need to win. I know our next 4 fixtures, or we have 3 in that time, don't we? Because they've got the game in hand. So our next 3 fixtures are Brighton at home, Brentford away, and Leicester at home. So the way we're playing, you wouldn't be surprised to win all 3 of them. But let's say we drop points in one of them being conservative. We'll probably drop points in one of those games. Let's say we draw to Brentford and win the other 2. Arsenal still probably need to win 3 out of those 4.
Yeah, with us to come after that as well. But
exactly.
To be fair, after that game, if if they are in touching distance, say before we play Liverpool, it's very likely that we can lose that Liverpool game, and they've got an easy game that weekend. They've got Leeds at home or something. So there is an opportunity there if they can keep in touching distance at that point.
Yeah, I think because we got Liverpool then Arsenal. So if we're like, say, they need to be probably 6 points, within 6 points of us from that Liverpool game, which is not completely beyond the realms of possibility. No. And then if we lose to Liverpool, they beat Leeds, then we go to North London derby, they need to win it. But then, even then, because our goal difference is so stark now, they'll probably need another drop point somewhere in there as well.
A point ahead.
Exactly.
Goal difference is like a point.
Well, the way it is, yeah, because we're scoring goals for fun. Yeah. We're scoring I think that's a key to how we've been playing recently. Is I know for the last like 20 minutes or so, the games have been dead pretty much, and we have kind of taken it easy.
Exactly. We only play an hour now. We don't even play 90 minutes anymore.
But we do seem to at least try and get a few more goals while we can, and we do end up usually getting one or two near the end. But yeah, we that's the key for these wins, is that we're being ruthless. We keep going forward and keep trying for more goals. We're not happy to like last season under Mourinho. We're not content just getting a goal and then sitting back and trying to defend it. We're always looking to score more goals, looking for opportunities to get more goals on the score sheet, and that has been key to boosting our goal difference. We could have easily, like for example that Everton game, we could have easily just taken the 2-0, 3-0, but we kept going for more. You know, we made it 4 or 5, and that's why there's been such a big swing. And so even in that case, even if we are 6 points, even if we are 3 points above Arsenal going to North London derby, it's very possible that they could win that, and that we still be above them with games with Burnley and Norwich to come after that. 2 very winnable games. So
what's actually
the landscape
happened?
Is very difficult for Arsenal at this point.
But what's actually happened to them, Arsenal? Because they're on a great run of form. They were just getting by games by the odd goal, but they probably deserve to win most of those games anyway, even if they were just winning by the odd goal here and there. And then suddenly this Crystal Palace game comes. The first time we were in the top 4. Do you think it's literally just pressure that got to them, or is there something else happening?
I think injuries. First,
in that Palace game, there wasn't injuries. I mean, Tierney was injured. That was about it.
Tierney and Partey clearly was injured because he went off with he injured his thigh muscle. And he must have been playing with it for a while because in that game, because he was awful. He was terrible that game. That was not the Partey we've seen this season. And then he had that moment, didn't he, where he got robbed of the ball and he just gave up. He's like, I can't carry on. And then he got taken off. So I think he probably picked up an injury fairly early on in that game, I would guess, and then he played through it. A bit like how Doherty tried to stay on, and even though he was clearly, we'll talk about that in a minute, but he was clearly very injured, Doherty, even though he tried to carry on. I think probably similar for Partey. And I think these injuries are very important ones for Arsenal because he doesn't even trust the backup left back in Tavares. They've played Xhaka left back on Saturday. Partey, it's not just so much that it's not so much that they have a drop off in quality in Lokonga. I actually don't think Lokonga's too bad. I think he's been decent. He's a decent young midfielder, but it's Partey was so integral to their system, and he's such an experienced player as well. He's one of their main players, Partey, when they're trying to beat the press and control games. He is vital to that, and he's after a difficult start to his career at Arsenal, he's really started to play over the past few months. Like he started to play at a really high level, like how he played at Atletico, and that injury is a big blow because it means they lose that authority, I think, in the centre of midfield, because he was a fantastic defensive midfielder and a brilliant midfielder on the ball as well. He was really good at a bit like Moussa Dembele. He's so good at shielding the ball, and even when he's being pressed, he's actually pretty press resistant on his day when he's playing well. When he's not there, you saw on Saturday they were bullied in the centre by the Mbwepo who scored, Basuma. They were the ones bullying them in the centre, and that wouldn't have happened if Partey was fully fit and playing. I don't think. I think it would have been a different outcome.
It takes away from so many areas of the pitch for Arsenal as well when Partey's injured. As well as Tierney being out as well, because Xhaka has to move into left back, which leaves even more holes in the middle of the park. Odegaard gets dropped even deeper from a attacking midfielder back to almost like a CDM role, and it just kind of makes a mess of everything they're trying to do. On
I
the
think,
pitch.
yeah, I think Arteta was definitely guilty of overthinking his selection and all the injuries.
But he does this on a consistent basis when he's got these injuries. I mean, he's done that, this kind of thing that he's done against Brighton. He's done it so many times this season. And I feel like when things are going good, Arteta looks good and he looks like a genius at sometimes. But then when things are going bad, he just looks a bit clueless.
I just love that in his press conference they were asking him, have you given up on top four yet? And like, not that. What did they ask? They ask him like, do you still believe you're going to get top four and stuff like that? And he's like, we're going to fight till the end, and we're going to do. It's just such a change from. Just a couple two games just before the Palace game. Well, obviously they were still favourites. They were in the driving seat, and all of a sudden he's getting questions like, "Do you still believe that you can get it?" And it's like that's how much it's changed over the past two games. And I think, those two games were very damaging though, because before they had a bit of leeway in that tough fixture list they had. They did have a bit of leeway there, where maybe they could drop points. They could afford to drop points to Chelsea and maybe West Ham or Man United, but now they don't have a lot of leeway at all.
Very damaging, these two defeats.
They don't have a lot of leeway because
I'm actually excited for Arsenal to play Southampton this weekend. I got this stat here. Crystal Palace hadn't won at home in 2022. Hashtag hello Arsenal. Brighton hadn't won in their last 7 games, and that's 1 draw and 6 losses. Hashtag hello Arsenal. Southampton have won none of their last 6 games and lost their last 4 in a row at home.
That's mad.
Hashtag hello Arsenal.
And it will be a difficult game for Arsenal because Southampton have some very good players, and especially at home, they can be very attacking. They can be a very, very offensive team, and Arsenal at the moment with their problems, they've conceded 5 in their last 2 after having one of the best defences over the last few months. They now seem to be leaking goals left, right, and centre, and coming up against Southampton, I'm sure they can score against them, but it's whether they can keep them out.
Can they score? Because they can't seem to score against anyone really at the moment. I know they scored against Brighton, but a massively lucky goal.
It's true.
They're not scoring goals at the moment. Lacazette hasn't scored in 20 hours of football, and he's their striker.
Yeah, from open play. But they have quality in Odegaard, Smith-Rowe, Saka, Martinelli. These young players are good.
Without their midfield, Odegaard has to drop deep, and he's more or less taken out the game in a creative perspective.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely what happened against Brighton. I'm sure he's going to change it up against Southampton. He can't go again with the same thing. But anyway, it's going to be difficult for them, that game. And if they don't win that game and they're going into that difficult run of fixtures without a winning 3, it's going to be very difficult for them to rally themselves to get wins in those games, because that's exactly what they need. Talk about Man United. They lost to Everton. They look on the beach. They're 6 points behind us now, same games played, but obviously we have a far better goal difference. Everything seems to be falling apart for Man United at the moment as well. Rangnick is calling out the players after every game, it seems. Ronaldo smashing phones out of fans' hands, out of kids' hands. It was an Everton fan, but he's smashing phones out of their hands. They seem to be no unity there at the moment. And he seems to not know what his best 11 is. He changes it every single game, doesn't he? He changes formation and personnel every game, Rangnick. He doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know how to play it.
But again,
Bruno here, Rashford there.
What's happened in the Man United team? Because in the build-up to this Premier League season, everyone was talking about them as title challengers. They bring in a Galacticos summer, didn't they? With Varane, Ronaldo, had Cavani there. Who else did they bring in this summer? Sancho. You know what I mean? Some big players, some big money spent on wages there. What's happened with them?
I think, they had Ollie at the beginning of the season. I never thought he was going to be the long-term answer for them, and so it proved. I think they always need it. I think it's the management. I think they need a proper world-class manager in there. And I think right now...
They need a Conte.
Yeah, they need someone who's going to have the authority in the dressing room. Right now, Ollie, as much as he was a nice guy and people liked him, did he have the respect of a Conte, a Klopp or a Pep? Probably not. I don't think he ever did, because I don't think he was ever that calibre of manager. As much as he might, could argue did a decent job at United for who he is, he was never going to be the calibre to take them to titles and manage that kind of dressing room. And then obviously they did this very strange thing when sacking Ollie. Instead of saying, okay, we're going to look for a manager to come in now and propel us into top 4 and try as soon as possible to steady the ship, they said, we're gonna only look for an interim, and then we're going to look for a new manager next season. And
By
so
doing that, they kissed the season goodbye.
Yeah, they pretty much exactly, that's exactly what they did. They pretty much told everyone they were kissing the season goodbye, which is a weird thing to do in November.
Yeah,
I think
very weird.
Yeah,
especially
considering
for a club like Manchester United.
I mean, how many weeks after we sacked Conte? So we hired Conte. Was it a couple weeks, maybe?
Literally, yeah.
So I mean, we haven't sacked off our season. I think it's a weird thing to do in November or early December, whenever it was, when they sacked Ollie. I think it was November, to just say, look, we're going to scrap this season, even though they're still in the Champions League. They're still, they probably weren't too far off top 4 or whatever at that time. To say, look, we're just going to look for an interim, and they're paying the price for it. I think Rangnick, again, he hasn't been a manager for so long. I don't think he's a bad footballing mind or potentially even a manager. I just don't think he's the right man right now to lead United into top 4 because he's got no authority.
He has seemed a bit clueless at times.
But he's just got no authority in the dressing room. They know he's not going to be the manager next season. So I think subconsciously that plays on the players' minds. And it's not only that, it's also how he wants them to play. Because it's so... He's like trying to imprint this this intense pressing system on Man United. First of all, they don't have the players to do it, but by the by, he's trying to do that. And it's one thing if you're Pochettino doing that on a young set of players who are willing to follow your every order and willing to do it and willing to fight for you, right? Because they know Pochettino is going to be there for the foreseeable future. But why would you implement this system for a manager? Try to get this system perfect, this really intense pressing system, get it perfect, right? Well, you know this manager's not going to be there next year, and the new manager's probably going to want to implement a different system next season, right? He's not going to, or if it is Ten Hag, he's not going to be this intense pressing manager. He's going to be more Pep. I know Pep, they do press, but I'm saying he's going to be more possession-based, more trying to keep the ball, trying to be, more tiki-taka like our Ajax have been under Ten Hag. So the players subconsciously probably feel like, why am I going to put in 110% into this system when the system's going to change in a few months' time?
But, to be fair to Man United, I mean, what could they have done? Because Ollie needed to go, let's be honest. Ollie did need to go. So do you give Ollie till the end of the season? Or do you bring in a manager that's, Ten Hag wasn't going to leave Ajax, Poch wasn't going to leave PSG halfway through a season. So which way do they go?
They screwed up.
What do? They screwed
up massively because they had they had the chance to get Conte and sack Ole and get Conte. And they had that chance just after they lost 5-0 to Liverpool. They decided for some, God knows why, they decided, no, we're going to give Ole one more chance. He beat Spurs, and then always when it happens is when you say to the manager, we're going to give you one more chance. You just know he's one more defeat away from the sacking. So why bother even doing that when you've just lost 5-0 to Liverpool? Was I thought that was absolutely madness from the United board, and it shows how they run, to be honest. And they had it was all the talk, wasn't it? There was Romano saying Conte was about to sign for United. It was all happening. Like, it literally was all happening, wasn't it? It was all the here we goes and everything. And then they decided last minute we're going to give him another chance. And then they beat Spurs, and we won that game. We've still, to this day, we have won that game. Because
was that our biggest win of the season?
Definitely that was our biggest win of the season. It was worth so much more than 3 points, that game. The fact that we got rid of Nuno and got Conte in the next day has changed our season. And I think the fact that we won that game, I think that game, us losing, means we'll probably finish above United. That game. And it's mad to think about the domino effect that game has had. But I think when we look back at the end of the season, we'll point to that game and say that's why we finished above United. It was that game.
I hope you got all your bets on with your Man United friends for this season.
I think I can't remember. I asked them, I was like, do we have a bet on? They were like, nah. I was like, oh, yeah, we do, don't we? But I can't remember if we put one on.
I messaged Andrew last week saying, are you still taking bets? He was like, no, the betting shop's closed now.
Exactly, closed shop. Of course it is. And I think Man United are paying the price. Look, you could argue, maybe in 2 or 3 years' time, you might be singing and saying, fair play United, they foregoed this season, but they took Ten Hag and they backed him, and now look at them, they're challenging for the title, or they're winning leagues. But right now, all we can say is, they purposely didn't forego the short term for the long term. And that's what it looks like. This is what it looks like. Foregoing the short term means potentially missing out on top four, and now they're going to probably miss out on top four as things stand. I mean, if you think Arsenal's fixture list is tough, they've got, I think, even tougher fixtures. And by the way, they do have Chelsea. It hasn't been rearranged.
Right. So that was So.
Yeah. So they have Chelsea left as well. So they got Chelsea, they got Liverpool, they got Arsenal. Obviously Brentford is a tough game, and Palace away last day of the season. That's not going to be easy. So they've got a tough set of fixtures, really tough set of fixtures from now to the end of the season. There's at least three games in there that they're going to drop points, and that's for them only seven games left.
They're dropping points to Everton at the moment.
Exactly.
I mean, they're probably going to drop more than that.
Exactly. So I think at the moment, with Man United, with the quality they have, they could turn it around. You never know. But at the moment, the way they're playing, you got to rule them out. You can almost rule them out because we're 6 points ahead of them. This weekend they have, I think it might be Norwich actually, to be fair. Is it? Yeah, Norwich. No, they're not. Yeah, Norwich this weekend. Yeah, Norwich.
And then Liverpool away.
And then Liverpool in the midweek. So that's the game in hand. That's
right.
Not game in hand. That's Liverpool in the cup semi, aren't they?
Yeah, Liverpool playing Man City this weekend. So
Then there's, after Norwich, they got Liverpool, United, Arsenal, and Brentford.
wow.
So three very tough games. Whether they'll win though, how many wins they'll get. I can't see them getting more than one win in those over the next three. So we could be out of sight by the time they play.
Do you think, with these two clubs, with Man United, with Arsenal, with the way they've both fallen off, is it down to inexperience? Is that what the crux of the issues are with both these clubs?
Not for United. You can't say it's down to inexperience. I don't know how you can. They've got a very experienced team.
They've got an experienced team, but I know they've got a pretty inexperienced manager in terms of actually being a manager. Hasn't managed for a long time. Never managed in the Premier League.
I don't think experience is the thing, because he's been manager of Leipzig, where I think he took them into Champions League football. I think
anywhere he's been, he hasn't been there for a long time. It's always been short stints here.
When he got to, I remember when he was. I don't remember that great Schalke team 10 years ago when they got in the Champions League. I'm just saying he has experience, though. Experience isn't the issue. I don't think it's experience. It's maybe he's been out of the game for so long in terms of manager. It's tough to just turn it on, especially in such a big job. But I don't think for Man United it's experience. They got Ronaldo up front, for God's sake. I don't think it's experience that's holding them back. I just think it's a cohesive. I think it's just the manager is the problem, and I think they need a world-class manager in there who's going to have the authority in the dressing room to get everyone playing how he wants to and get a system in place. They've got no identity as a team at the moment, Man United. From Arsenal's point of view, I think there's a good case to say it's inexperience in terms of managing these kind of run-ins, making sure, even though you've been consistent for a long time, staying consistent even beyond that, and making sure that even though you've got injuries and managing the squad and all these things, and I think they've just been found wanting of late in that kind of criteria. So yeah, I think from Arsenal's point of view, because they're a very young team, the youngest in the league. So I think inexperience definitely, and the manager, it's his first. It was interesting. I can't remember who I was listening to, but I think it was someone on. Some Arsenal fan, or maybe on TalkSport or something, he goes, we signed Arteta on the back of him being the Pep Guardiola's assistant manager at Man City, and that's his CV for being the Arsenal manager. He's like, could you name me the Man City assistant manager now? Could you? Do you know who it is? I don't know who it is. No. Would you give him the Spurs job, or would you give him the Arsenal job?
Arteta was never a good appointment. I think it was always, the inexperience was always going to show. It really is. And I couldn't believe that they actually hired him with the massive job that was on there, massive rebuild. Yeah, and to be fair to him, with the experience that he has, he's actually done well this season. Two eighth places in the last 2 years, but it looks like they're going to finish a bit higher than that this season.
But
so, there are comparisons to be made, because when we had the Poch team, we had the youngest team in the Premier League then, right? and we were getting fourth on a consistent basis. But the difference between that team and the difference between this Arsenal team is we had dots of experience dotted around that tour. We had Hugo Lloris in goal. We had Jan and Toby at centre back. We had Moussa Dembele.
I think that's the thing. I think it's the key positions where you need experience. The thing is with Arsenal right now, I think for Tottenham, they had a young team but a very experienced spine.
Yeah.
You know, Vertonghen, Alderweireld, Lloris in goal, very experienced.
Dembele,
Dembele, Wanyama was fairly experienced at that time. He wasn't so young as well at that time. You obviously, I know the front players were young, but I think you can get away with it more in the forward areas. But in the back line, we were much more experienced. We had that
young
spine
players to do the running. That's
exactly.
What we had. And we had the kind of experienced players to be that solid ground for us.
And I think Arsenal as well, but also we never had a season like this for Arsenal where we were out of Europe and we had just one game a week to focus on. And we were out of all the cups very early. That's never really happened to us under Poch, because even though we never won anything, we got to the far in the cups very often. Like in his first season, we got to the cup final, didn't we? We lost to Chelsea.
Cup, yeah.
We lost in the Carabao Cup to Chelsea.
Didn't we go out Europe and FA Cups quite early in the first few years?
Europe, we lost to Fiorentina round of 32 in his first season. Then we
Ghent the year after.
And then year after we lost to Dortmund in the last 16 of the Europa, because we beat Fiorentina the following year in the round of 32, and then we lost to Dortmund.
The year after we went out Champions League group stage, then lost again.
Yeah, year after we lost. Yeah, but we still had European football though.
Yeah,
we still had it for the majority until February, March. Arsenal have had free midweeks from pretty much the whole season. They've had they haven't had double. How many 2 game weeks have Arsenal had this season?
Not many.
You can probably count on one hand. I'm guessing. I don't know, but you can probably count on one hand. I'm going to guess.
And he took that for granted a bit, and he said to the club in January, I only need 13, 14 players from now to the end of the season, and that's come back to bite them in the arse massively.
I think so. Because I remember. Do you remember what I was saying in January? As much as it might feel like the right thing to do to let Aubameyang go, which it might still be. I said I just looked at the example of Tevez for Man City. He was a player who was cast aside for the whole season, pretty much because he refused to play. There was like one game he refused to play against Bayern Munich, and then he was cast aside all the way up until April. He wasn't even in a match day squad. He was away playing golf or something, wasn't he, in some other country? And then what happened? Man City started, although they didn't need him for the majority of the season, there came a time in April where they started to falter. I think they lost a few games, and all of a sudden their title charge started to falter. And what do? They said, all right, Tevez, look, we haven't seen eye to eye this season. We've you've been playing golf, but we need you now. We need you to come in and save our season. And he did that. He came in, he scored a bucket load of goals in the last 5 games of the season, and he helped Man City to the title. And he actually stayed for another year before going over to Juventus. And I felt like Arsenal, if they weren't going to sign a replacement, they're better off keeping Aubameyang around, trying, even though it's not working. Okay, even if you're not going to play him for like a month or two, and just out of principle, when you need him, there might be a time like right now that you need him to, and you might put everything aside and say, look, we know we've had our differences. You turned up late to training, blah blah blah, but we need you now. We need you to score some goals for us because we're struggling. We're struggling to score, and now they don't even have that option to do that. Now they've forgot that option. They've got rid of that option and they're just relying on what they have. They're relying on Nketiah and Lacazette, and that's not going to be enough to save them, I don't think, at this point.
The fact of the matter...
But imagine now that they had Aubameyang to come in. That could be something... That could be dangerous if they had Aubameyang to come in right now.
The fact of the matter is that since Aubameyang has gone to Barcelona, he scored 10 goals. In that time, Arsenal scored 12 goals.
Yeah,
the proof is in the pudding there.
But I'm saying it could reinvigorate them.
Of course it
could. If Aubameyang, let's say, started against Hampden and got a couple of goals, and all of a sudden there's a feel-good factor around again, but they don't have that option.
Can put the ball in the back of the net. They don't have that.
Yeah, and I think they might have screwed up in that aspect.
Do you think, in hindsight, that Arsenal might regret
treating Emre the way they did? I said that a while ago. that I think Emre did a much better job than Arsenal fans give him credit for, because he finished 5th and got to Europa League final in his first season. And then obviously it went a bit sour in the second season, but I believe they were 8th place and like something like 6.5 or 6 points off top 4 when they sacked him. Obviously it didn't look great on paper, but you know, the Arteta the next season went on like an 8-game losing streak and they kept him after that. So they could have easily sacked him on the basis of they sacked Emre. So I think look at Unai Emery now. I know Villarreal in the league are like 7th or something, but their squad really isn't nothing to write home about. And they're
got a bunch of Tottenham and Arsenal rejects.
And they're you know what they've just played Bayern Munich off the park in the Champions League. They won Europa League last season. By the way, he is amazing in Europe. Emre. He's like, I don't know what he does in Europe, but he is unbelievable. He's unbelievable. He's won 3 Europa Leagues. He got to the final with Arsenal. I think, and then he won another one with Villarreal. The only time he really disgraced himself in the Champions League, he was 4-0 up against Barcelona, and then they gave it away. But he was still 4-0 up
for PSG. Yeah.
Yeah, for PSG. Like that's still, I know, you know, it was embarrassing to lose, but he still beat them 4-0 in the first leg, which is impressive in itself. I know that, and then they obviously went on to do 6-1 in the second leg.
You can't put all the blame on Emre for that second leg,
considering how many times they've fallen apart since then.
Exactly. Not only that, but you know, he's done a brilliant job in getting them 4-0 up in the first leg. Like, surely the players got to take some accountability for that second leg as well.
Yeah, of course they do. And considering how it's gone since, and also that was PSG side without Mbappe or no Mbappe or Neymar or Messi or anything like that, wasn't it? They just had Cavani and Draxler, and still not bad players, but still, like he's been I think he's completely was ridiculed by not only the Arsenal fans but English media as well, because he kept saying good evening and stuff like that.
Good evening.
But I actually think they got rid of him way too soon, and they panicked when they got rid of him. Emre said, I don't know if you saw his interview recently, he said that the Arsenal board, when they sacked him, believed in him and actually thought he was doing a good job, but he said the pressure from the Arsenal fans was so strong they had to sack him. Wow. That's what he said, but obviously he's gonna want to promote his side of the story, isn't he? So
that was the case. I mean, I did think that at a time, Emre, he did lose the dressing room.
Well, yeah, he was on a bad run of form when he got sacked. There's no doubt about that. But you know, has Arteta ever had as good a season as finishing 5th in the Europa League final? He hasn't done that, has he?
He has won the FA Cup, to be fair.
He did win the FA Cup, but still, it's probably harder to finish 5th and get to a European final than it is to finish 8th and win an FA Cup, I would say.
Arteta, I mean, he's lost 12 of his last 45 Premier League games at home. Arsene Wenger lost 12 of his last 116 Premier League games at home, which is actually mad. Yeah,
they've lost a lot, haven't they? Because a lot of it was down to last season. They lost a lot of home games, and so yeah, I mean, Arsenal, we'll have to wait and see. Look, still a lot to play for, and if they turn it around and they can, if they overtake us from this point, you got to say fair play to them, because they have to win a lot of difficult games to do that, and we're gonna have to fall apart. But right now,
only fall apart how we know Tottenham can,
and we know we can. But right now, it's not looking good for the red side of North London, that's for sure. And then when it comes to West Ham, lost to Brentford yesterday, and from what I could see, they were very lethargic, and that was expected, wasn't it? What did we say from the beginning of the season? They're a good team, but they won't last the distance. They don't have the squad for it. They've got European football. They're going to be too stretched, and when push comes to shove, they'll fall. And there's no surprise that they're starting to falter at the moment.
I mean, they lose pretty much every week after European games.
Yeah, and look, and we'll see how they do this week against Lyon. If they win, to be fair, you know, being Sevilla and Lyon, they've got to be one of the favourites for the Europa League. I know they've still got Barcelona in there. But,
yeah, I mean, you got to back Barcelona against them, surely.
I know, but they've beaten Sevilla and Lyon, so you know, no pushovers, are they?
Yeah, I think Lyon are going to do a job on them Thursday night, though.
But yeah, look,
I thought Lyon were all right in the first leg. It wasn't.
Yeah, they were down to 10 men, weren't they? West Ham,
yeah, they were.
But look, we're in a strong position, and it was the perfect weekend from results wise. It couldn't have gone any better. It just follows. It's like a reaction to that weekend when we lost to United and every other team won, didn't they? And then at that point it looked awful. But we've kept plugging away. We're on 4 on the trot now, playing brilliant football, scoring goals for fun. Kane is dominating games without even having to score. Son is looking like he could be battling Salah for the Golden Boot,
which is mad.
It's going really well for Tottenham. We just got to keep it up right now, and we got to make sure we keep our consistency and don't take our eye off the ball. And starting with this weekend with Brighton at home, we just saw what Brighton did, and we got to make sure that we got to make sure that we don't take our eye off the ball. That's the main thing. Because Arsenal did, and see what I'm saying. They, even though Brighton lost 6 and drawn 1 of their last 7, they still lost at home to Brighton. And we got to make sure that we don't allow Brighton to do that against us.
Absolutely. So Spurs firmly in the driving seat, but we all know this too well that there's still a while to go. 6-7 games left of this season, and we need to stay in the same mentality that we got, and we need to keep on this same path, because we know how quickly things can change in football. But having said that, it was the most perfect weekend for Tottenham just gone. But let's move on, because we've got some quite upsetting news coming out last night. Gutting, actually, for Matt Doherty, as he ruptured his medial collateral ligaments in his knee, and he is going to be out for the remainder of the season. And how unlucky can you be? Because he finally, endeared himself to the Tottenham fan base, finally putting in consistent good performances, whether it be at right wing back, left wing back, whatever you want to say. He's been really good. Hasn't he? Since this kind of uptick in form, and it's just so frustrating that this had to happen at this stage of the season.
Yeah, I feel awful for him, because he just found his form, and he started to finally get the respect of the Tottenham fans and find his place in the team, and probably believe he was getting that form that made him one of the most effective right wing backs in the league. And for him to get that injury must be gutting for him. And I don't know how long that means he's going to be out for, but definitely for the remainder of the season. And who knows how he'll recover from that and how he'll come back from that, because it sounds like a serious injury. And you can see as well on Saturday, he tried so hard to stay on. He really didn't want to come off. I think
3 times.
Yeah, I think part of me thinks he was in such good form that he didn't want to go off injured and then potentially lose his place in the team because Reguilon comes on and plays well or something. I think part of me felt like he was thinking about that, but he just couldn't continue, unfortunately. And you saw he tried hard, and unfortunately he was a victim of what was Villa's assault on us in that first half, pretty much, with some of the challenges. I think Kulusevski is lucky that he didn't follow suit in that regard. I think Villa were disgraceful in that first half, and I think the referee let him get away with it. I thought he was an absolute shambolic and disgusting refereeing display from Villa, and I think Doherty now is the victim of that. And I feel so bad for him, and also it takes a bit away from how we're going to play, because he was, in terms of output, he was by far and away the most effective wing-back we had on current form, And things like, for example, when we played Everton and he's playing these like great through balls, like Emerson's not capable of that. He's not capable of that kind of play. I think Emerson is better at Doherty at maybe stretching the play and sticking out wide, and he's a bit more of an athlete. But in terms of technical ability, in terms of timing of runs, in terms of a player you trust with the ball, Doherty wins hands down by and large. And also getting into the back post and scoring goals and things like that, Doherty is by far and away more effective, and that's more important, I think, in Conte's system. So he's going to be a big miss at right wing back for sure from now to the end of the season. And Emerson's going to have to step up and up his game, because he's going to have a lot of game time now, unless he goes with Reguilon and Sessegnon wing backs, which you never know.
I think he'll persist with Emerson for now, unless he really lets him down.
I think for now he will, but he started Doherty on the left. Why can't he start Sessegnon on the right? And I think I remember against Morecambe thinking that he played Sessegnon on the right wing back for a bit, and I actually think Sessegnon did all right there.
But, Emerson's played the last 2 games at right wing back now. He also played the game against Man City at right wing back. Yeah. That's probably the last 3 games he started.
He started against Burnley as well.
Fine, and Burnley. But, it proves that we can get results and good results with Emerson at right wing back. Obviously, everyone's had their reservations about Emerson. Even Conte's had reservations about Emerson. But now it's his time to shine, isn't it? It's his time potentially to even save his Tottenham career. Because, you know, there's all these rumours about Atletico Madrid in the summer for Emerson. So it's his time to really step up and prove that he needs to be here to stay, or he wants to be here to stay. This is literally his time to shine, where we don't have any other fit right wing back in the squad.
No, I agree with that. And I think he will trust Emerson. And that's why he started on Saturday, because I think he wanted to respect the fact that he played well against Newcastle, and he didn't want to drop him immediately just because Sessegnon and Reguilon are back. I think Conte plays with the fact that when you earn the shirt, it's yours till you lose it, kind of thing. I think that's how he likes to approach things, and that's how he has done so far since being appointed Tottenham manager. And I think Emerson will be playing until he puts in a really bad performance or a couple, and then maybe you have to rethink it. But Emerson, I just don't know if he's capable of what Doherty's capable of. We'll have to wait. Hopefully he proves me wrong. But I think it might make us a bit more. I think defensively it might help us, and especially I think also against big teams like Liverpool. I actually think having someone like Emerson there might help us a bit, because I think his athleticism can cover more ground, and it means we probably won't get caught out as much. But I just don't think he's as good when going forward and trying to affect things in the final third. He hasn't shown to be as good as Doherty. But you know what? It wasn't up until that game against Leeds where Doherty was showing anything. And maybe Emerson might have one of those games where he finally starts to get it and explodes.
It's a lot to be said, though, like, when Emerson was starting earlier parts of the season, our right side was so much weaker than it is now. He had Sanchez behind him.
Yeah.
He had Lucas Moura in front of him. Now he's got Kulusevski in front of him and Romero behind him.
That's also true. That's a fair point. That's a very fair point, and that hopefully will change things for him. I'm not worried about having Emerson at wing back for the remainder of the season. I don't think that's going to mean we fall apart or anything. Unlike, you know, Arsenal, one injury to in left back, and all of a sudden everything's falling apart. But I don't think it's going to be that detrimental. But I just feel bad for Doherty himself, because he was playing so well and he was getting consistent goals and assists as well, and he was making a real difference for us. And we're going to lose that, which is a shame. But hopefully, whatever we lose with Doherty, hopefully Emerson can start learning the role a lot better. And obviously, I think Reguilon or Sessegnon will still be battling out that left wing back slot, but it's a massive shame. Do you think he was planning on keeping Doherty on the left and Emerson on the right?
I'm not too sure about that. I don't think so. I think he was always planning to put Doherty back on the right hand side and one of Sessegnon or Reguilon on the left. I think he just kept it for that specific game, just because both of them had quite a strong game the game before. But I think the plan was always to go back to the natural positions.
Yeah, you're probably right. But the thing is, it's interesting though, because this injury has happened now. What do we do in terms of the summer? Because obviously Doherty was hoping to play these last few games to fully cement the fact that he can show his consistency over a long stretch of games, and show that he can be a right back for us in the Champions League or whatnot. He wanted to show that. Here now, how many games did he actually play from February till now? Maybe 6 or 7 games?
Something like that, yeah.
So he's only really shown that consistency over that period, which is a fair period. But do we keep him now based on that period of games, or do we still think, okay, do we try and get some money for him based on the fact that his stock is pretty high, even though he's injured? His stock will be high based on his performances, or do we think maybe he's shown enough in those games that he can be our right back for next season? What do we think? Do we think we sell him?
We need someone of higher quality. Just because he's come in and had some good games, yes, he's had some good games, but I still don't think it's on a level as opposed to like where we want to be, where we used to be with Kyle Walker and Danny Rose and, you know, those kind of flying wing backs.
Let's say he never got this injury and he was keeping up these standards for these last 7 games. Would that have changed anything for you?
Not really, to be honest. I think that it would have changed in terms of maybe I would like to ship out Emerson and keep him as a backup. I'd always want to sign a new right wing back. I think.
No, we're always going to sign one. It's just,
but to start, not like even to fight, just to start, because I
Yeah.
think that we need higher quality than Matt Doherty in this squad. Doherty's doing a job for now, and he's doing a really good job at that. But I still think it's very much an upgradable position, a bit like Ben Davis. How Ben Davis is doing really well, playing good football. It's hard to displace him from the team, but he still needs to be upgraded on.
yeah, I know, but obviously in January it wasn't about Doherty being upgraded on. It was about just getting him out. Everyone wanted him out, right? We didn't want him part of the squad anymore. We didn't think he was good enough. He obviously after January he's come into the team, played really well for a decent stretch of games, 6-7 games, and he showed that he can actually not only be relied upon but provide an effective part of the team, a wing back, in terms of providing goals and assists like he did for Wolves. And he started to show the form that made us sign him for Wolves. So now he's got that injury. Are we still in the camp of we just don't want him part of the squad anymore? Or has he shown enough, just in these 7 games, to say, I'm happy for you to even if it's backup, to be part of the squad next season? Or would you still try and get money for him? Because his stock is high. His stock would be high now because he's got. It depends.
If a good offer comes in, I'm not against selling him. But with what he's shown since that Leeds game, I'm happy for him to be in and around the squad. But again, obviously, like I said, we still need to sign a few wing backs. Oh, not a few, but a wing back, a right wing.
Yeah, I know. We're going to need someone regardless, because Emerson probably needs to go, and I think he will go. I don't think Conte will want him around next season. So
but
regardless,
what happens if the same thing happens with Emerson now in these 7 games remaining from now until the end of the season? What if he starts performing?
Depends to what level.
If he performs, to a similar level that Matt Doherty's performing at now.
We'll have to see it. But if he does, then I'm open to him staying. But at the moment, he hasn't shown any sort of ability that makes me think he can be consistently effective in the final third. It's not even just terms of quality and technical ability, it's also decision making. I haven't seen that from him yet. That we have seen from Doherty, even though it's in a small stretch of games. What we have seen from Emerson is athleticism. We've seen ability to get in the positions Conte wants him to get in on the wing, not necessarily in the box, but in terms of out wide, stretching the play. How many times do you see Kane looking for an option and Emerson's always available? Happens very often because Emerson's a good athlete and he can find space well. But when he does receive the ball, more often than not, he's found wanting, and that's something he needs to improve on massively. If he's going to be it's not necessarily going to be good enough for a right back in the Premier League. If he's going to be a good enough wing back in Conte's system, that's what he needs to do, and he hasn't shown that. Look, if he goes and gets goals and assists like Doherty's been getting in the last 7 games and shows to me that he can do it, then we'll have that conversation. But right now, there's no point having that conversation.
Yeah, but ultimately, I think. Personally, I'd probably like to sign two new right wing backs that are definitely going to come in and do a job. But if not, then I'm happy to keep Matt Doherty as a backup and sign a new first choice right wing back. That's for sure.
Yeah, be interesting to see if it does affect anything in the summer with this injury. But I feel bad for him because I think Doherty even now still feels like he probably has to prove himself even now, because he had a good stretch of games. Which he's been very good, but he still hasn't done it over half a season or something. He's only been 7 or 8 games, hasn't it? So
7 games, yeah. Well, 7 including Villa, so really 6.
6 games. Is that long enough to really tell?
But how many times have we seen this with Spurs players, right? Where all the fan base want them gone. They put in a late surge for a good performance. Like Davinson Sanchez, how many times has this happened with him? And other players as well. Harry Winks, it's happened with. Off the top of my head, I can't remember, but it's happened with many other players before where for all the fan base want him gone, and then they make a late surge maybe towards the end of the season, and they're like, oh, maybe they can play, and then they get stuck here for a much longer period of time.
Yeah.
It's happened a lot. So I think that once you know a player's not of the required ability, and Doherty, as much as he's been playing well the last 6 games, I don't think he's of the required ability of, what Conte wants going to challenge for a league title.
Sorry, Doherty?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably not. But then you would have said Moses isn't, and they won a title with him.
That's true. That's true. But Moses was much more athletic than Doherty and could get up and down the pitch a lot better than Matt Doherty can.
It's true. I think Doxy's probably good enough to be backup. Yeah, I would have him as backup for next season. The way
Back up at most, though.
Yeah,
at best.
Yeah, we all wanted a new right back. I think Conte wants a new right back. We know that. We know that. We're just. But before, I'm just saying, before everyone wanted Doxy out, has that changed? Probably.
I think it's made people a bit more open to him staying, but I think ultimately, if a good offer comes in, you got to take it.
Do you think a good offer might come in this summer?
Probably not. I don't think so. 30 years of age.
Yeah, but we signed him at 13. You don't think we can get our money back, or 15 million, or 20 million? The way from what he's shown, maybe.
What, for 6 games?
Yeah, but if that's what everyone remembers right now, because that's his last. And also, although he's had difficulty betting into Tottenham, he was very good at Wolves. He had a difficult 18 months, then started showing his form again, and now he got injured. This is why this injury is such bad time for Doherty. This is exactly what I'm saying. Because
look,
he was on the cusp of showing that form again.
We signed him, 2 years ago?
18, beginning of last season.
So he was, 28 when we signed him?
Yeah.
He's now 30 years of age, got a really big injury now behind him. I can't see us getting what we paid for him. I think literally 10 million at the absolute top.
I think we can get 13 based on these games. I think
at that age,
million.
That injury, I mean, where's he going to go? What? He's not going to go anywhere better than us. So, I mean...
No.
He's not going to go to any of the teams. I think maybe a West Ham. Maybe he could.
Who plays a back three? Maybe like Brentford.
Brentford.
He could do good at Brentford, I reckon.
A Burnley, someone
back to
like
Wolves.
that. But back to Wolves. I just can't see us getting. I think 10 million at the absolute tops. To be honest, I don't think at that age with that injury now, I just can't see it.
Yeah, it depends how bad this injury is. But it's bad. But this is what I'm saying, because if he did show this form from now to the end of the season, would have no problems, I don't think, getting offers.
I think without the injury, the injury makes a big difference.
Yes, I'm saying I feel bad for him. That's why I feel so bad for him.
It makes a difference in terms of him being in the Tottenham squad, and a big difference of him moving on as well. So it's kind of screwed everything, this injury for Matt Doherty.
Yeah.
But that is that on Matt Doherty. Unfortunately, he is out for the remainder of the season, which is very hard to take. But those are the headlines we're going to speak about today. We're going to get through some super chats and then get you guys on to have your say. First super chat is Dark Sunji 21 saying Gooners and Man U can't play under pressure. We play before them on Saturday. Let's smash Brighton again and let's see Southampton batter the Gooners and Man U lose. I mean, I can't really see Man U losing this weekend to Norwich.
To Norwich, well, yeah, true. But they have just beaten Burnley, didn't they?
Yeah, so. and Man U just lost to Everton too.
Exactly. So can't rule anything out. But you're right. Look, home to Norwich. If they don't win that game, man, they're even going to get Conference League. Honestly,
is Ragnick going to last the season?
Honestly, he might get sacked. Interesting. Oh, it's interesting in terms of where do you place Arsenal, United, and West Ham in terms of Europa League and Conference League?
What's my prediction from now to the end of the
Let's
season?
say we do get top 4. Where do we think?
We're going to go Spurs 4th, Man U 5th.
You reckon Man U overtake Arsenal?
Yeah.
In the way they're playing?
I think so.
Wow.
Look at the way Arsenal are playing. Even worse.
Is it?
Well, they've just lost 3-0 to Crystal Palace and they've just lost to Brighton at home, and Brighton have lost 6 of their last 7 games and drew 1 of them.
Yeah, but United are 3 points behind with probably having played a game more.
Yeah, and it could very well come down to that game, Arsenal against Man United, in a couple of weeks' time.
So you go,
I've got a feeling Man U can, because with the quality that Man United have, they can turn it on in the specific games, in 1 or 2 games. I know they're not at the moment, but I think from now to the end of the season, I still think they'll back themselves to get a few more points than Arsenal. Arsenal have fallen off a cliff completely. I know Man United have as well, but I think with the players in there, like against us, Cristiano Ronaldo out of nowhere, 3 goals, hat-trick, won the game for them.
Mm-hmm.
They've got match winners in their team. Arsenal don't.
True. But you never know. One win for Arsenal, they can get their form back.
But like we've said, with Partey out injured, they look toothless in the middle. With Tierney out, they got to put Xhaka there, which have got even less in the middle. I mean, they're 2 massive injuries for Arsenal.
So you reckon United 5th, Arsenal 6th, West Ham 7th in the conference? West Ham's best ever season.
Yeah.
Brilliant. I think. You know what? I've got a feeling it's going to go Arsenal 5th, West Ham 6th, Man United 7th.
I mean, if they're losing away to Palace and they're losing at home to Brighton, when are they going to win a game?
Yeah, but that's now. That's not going to be that way forever.
Well, it's not long to go.
I know, but I'm sure they'll win some games. I don't think they're going to go winless. Look, I'll be happy if I'm wrong, but I don't think they're going to go winless from now to the end of the season, even though they've got tough games. I'm sure they'll find a way to start picking up some points
Let's
again.
say they lose to Southampton this weekend and Man United beat Norwich.
Then,
Maybe your opinion's going to be a lot different.
Could be. But you know, I wouldn't be surprised if they beat United at home, like the way United are going. United, at least Arsenal still have that effort.
Arsenal can't score a goal at the
Arsenal
moment.
still have that effort in them, though. They still have that desire. United don't. That's the thing. That's
they?
the difference.
Arsenal still got that desire. I mean,
Yeah.
they look absolutely clueless at the moment. I mean,
They do, yeah, I know, but that
devoid of anything. I
Yeah,
mean,
but
they showed us something about 5 minutes to go in the last game, but that's about it.
Yeah, but they're having big tactical issues right now, I think, in terms of injuries, where to play which. I think Arteta's overcomplicating it. Once he starts finding a bit of a balancing, I'm not saying they'll find a balance good enough to start challenging us for top 4 again. We'll see. Maybe they will. But I do think they'll find a balance enough to win enough games to probably sneak into that 5th place. I've just got a feeling they will. In terms of Man United, they don't seem to have any sort of desire at all right now to even put up a fight. And I think Arsenal is more of a quality issue than a lack of effort, whereas United is more of an effort issue. And maybe I feel like that might trump it. We'll see.
If West Ham go out to Lyon on Thursday night, they could get 5th.
Yeah, they could get 5th. What games they got left?
I'll tell you now. I got it in front of me.
I think I've also got tough games.
They got Burnley at home, Chelsea away, Arsenal at home, Norwich away, Man City at home, and Brighton away.
Tough. Arsenal, Man City, and Chelsea.
Mm-hmm.
Are they going to get 5th? Bloody hell. No one's going to get 5th.
Yeah, Chelsea got very difficult games. Chelsea are playing everyone. They're playing Man U, Arsenal, West Ham. It's third there for the taking.
Yeah, but they're everyone else. We've just got by far the easiest games.
Yeah.
Like, by far.
Yeah.
Like, not even like close.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy.
I know. We played our hard games. What do you want?
It's mad.
We took
and we
6
beat
points.
City.
We took 6 points off Man City. We've taken a point off Liverpool.
Exactly. So I can't. No, I think looking at those fixtures for West Ham, I can't see them getting 5th.
West Ham can pull the results against these teams, though. They've shown it this season.
They beat Liverpool, didn't they? They did beat Liverpool earlier in the season. But I still think Arsenal, who they got there? I know they got tough run, but Newcastle, Everton, Leeds.
And they've beaten. Didn't they beat
Tough,
Chelsea
man.
this season as well?
Who?
West Ham.
They did. That was lucky though. That cross that
Masuaku
went in. Yeah, that was lucky.
But still, they still beat them.
They did beat it. To be fair, that was early in the season, but they did beat them. Yeah, no, can't take it away from them.
So
Maybe you're right. Maybe West Ham still have a shot of 5th if they can get big results like they have been getting.
But it all plays down on them going out the Europa League. Because if they progress against Lyon, then I don't think they get it.
God, it is. I think that's probably the tightest race now. Who's going to get 5th?
The race for 5th is on.
We'll see.
Anyway, let's move on with the super chats. Absolute says Ronaldo should be suspended for 4 weeks. I guess he's talking about the knocking.
Well, because he knocked the phone out.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't think he should be suspended. You get fined. You get a bit of ridicule on social media. What? They're going to suspend him because he did that? He's going to probably pay for the phone. He invited the Everton fan to Old Trafford for a game. Great gesture. But look, do you know what's an Everton fan? He's a kid, but he's an idiot. I saw the video he was making before, so it doesn't surprise me that Ronaldo did that. But you can't do it as a professional footballer, can you? So I don't think he'll get suspended for 4 weeks, though.
Vasif Mamadov saying Levy backed Conte in January while Arteta and Rangnick didn't get anything. Levy didn't sell Kane to City and was fast to replace Nuno with Conte. Levy is a massive reason we are getting top 4.
I wouldn't say Arteta wasn't backed in January because he got exactly what he wanted. Obviously, he didn't get Vlahovic, but they were never getting Vlahovic. They didn't have a plan B.
Well, I don't think he
Vlahovic.
got what he wanted because he wanted a striker and he wanted a midfielder. And he didn't get
No, but in terms of the outgoings, they didn't have to get rid of Aubameyang, but he wanted Aubameyang out the door, and then he got what he wanted in that sense.
He wanted Aubameyang out the door, but he also wanted players through the door, which he didn't get.
But he didn't have to let go of Aubameyang. Vlahovic was never was a pipe dream. I don't think he was ever going to Arsenal.
No.
That was a pipe dream. And then they wanted Arthur, didn't they, from Juventus? Don't know what happened there. Don't know why that didn't happen. But that never really came close, did it? So I don't know. Yeah, maybe like whose fault is that then? I don't know whose fault that is. Is it the board's fault? Is it Arteta's fault?
Well, you don't really know what goes on behind closed doors, so it's hard to say.
In terms of Conte, yeah, I mean, I get was Conte? I mean, we asked that question in January. Was Conte backed? And he definitely got 2 signings, and he got the players out the door he wanted to get out the door. So that's all true. He probably wanted another one though, didn't he?
He was back to a certain extent. I don't think he was fully backed. Let's be honest.
Yeah, but he was back to as much Levy could risk, I guess.
But the window that we did have transformed our season, and that's the facts of the matter.
Yeah, we're only seeing it now though. We weren't because just after the window we lost 4 out of 5.
Yeah, but as soon as these 2 came into the starting lineup, it's been much better.
I'm saying we're only seeing it now. I'm saying as soon as
right?
I'm saying as soon as the window happened, we lost 4 out of 5 when the window closed.
Yeah.
So at that time we're like, has this window actually been good for us? It looked awful. But yeah, you're right. As soon as the two got into the lineup, it's been we've completely transformed the team, and we've won 7 out of 9. The 2 games we lost to Burnley and United. We never should have lost that game, and obviously Burnley, we probably deserved to lose that, but other than that, we've been brilliant. And there's big teams in there, like beating West Ham at home and beating Man City away. Had some tough games, and we still came through.
Yeah. Another super chat from Wolves-Fi. Not really sure what this is saying. Do you know what this one says? Haha, Matter. You need to keep counting people's on streams.
I don't know. Matter. Is that Juan Matter? I don't know.
I don't know what he's talking about there.
Sorry, mate. I wish I
knew. Big up Wolves-Fi member for 5 months.
Big up.
Skywalk FC saying, sad to see Doherty injured. It's crazy how Villa only got 2 yellow cards whilst we got 3. One of their yellows was Young, who came on late for Dean.
Yeah, mate, they made a series of yellow card challenges in the first half, which was disgraceful for me. They should have...
They were so dirty, weren't they?
It angered me a lot, man, how they were going in on our players. But I think I remember George said on the post-match fan show, like, we were only getting bookings because we had to stand up for ourselves because the referee wasn't doing anything. And sometimes you got to do that, and you got to risk getting a card or 2 to make sure that to make sure that they're not bullying you. Basically.
Luckily, one of them wasn't Romero.
Exactly,
because he could have got booked that game. Awesome Or saying Conte combine interchangeable 3-4-3 to 3-4-1-2 to 3-5-2 with the last 10 minutes 3-4-2-3-1 is so beautiful.
Yeah. And that's the going to be a key for next season when we do get signings and is being tactically flexible, which is why I keep saying I want Eriksen back, is because he might not fit into that 3-4-3 per se, but he's going to fit into other formations, 3-5-2, 4-2-3-1, 3-4-1-2 he could fit in as well. So there could definitely be a place for him in this squad, just based on what formation we want to play. And I think he's definitely a player we're lacking.
If we do bring in someone of Eriksen's ilk, what does that mean for someone like Harry Kane? Does he keep dropping deep, Harry Kane?
No, he doesn't. Not as much. As in, he will, but not as much. Not as much. Right now, he's pretty much playing like a centre mid a lot of the time. Obviously, in the second half, he was back to being a number 9 and flicking things on. But a lot of the time, he's so deep. He's like another central midfielder, or another, an attacking midfielder.
He's a cross between an 8, 10, and 9.
Yeah, I'm sure he will still look. He's never. I think he's so good at that. You don't want to take it completely out of his game, but you also don't want him coming so deep that he's never in the box anymore. Like, you don't see him in the box as much as he used to, which is, a shame because he's got unbelievable finishing. I think Conte said before the game against Villa, he said, Kane's doing brilliantly, but I want to help him. I want to bring a number 10 in to help him because Kane is at his best around the penalty area as a number 9, being a striker, and I still think that's his best quality. As much as he has become an elite playmaker, he's still an elite striker, and those are hard to come by. So, yeah, I think I don't think we'll see him deep as much, but I still think he'll have to keep doing it because he's so good at it.
Yeah. Awesome Or again says Levy, Conte needs 2 right wing backs, 1 right winger, one number 9, one central midfielder, one CDM, 3 playmakers, and 1 goalkeeper.
3 playmakers. Bloody hell, you're not asking for much, are you?
We still need a right winger. We just signed Kulusevski.
What, Kulu and Mora? That's probably enough. I mean, to be honest, Mora again didn't impress me when he came on against Villa. He has been poor in his cameos.
I got a feeling Mora might look to the exit door this
summer.
But
he keeps bringing him on before Bergwijn, so maybe that shows that he still either trusts him or I don't know. But since that game against City, I can't remember one good cameo from Luke. Maybe the one against Newcastle, he got that lucky assist, but I can't remember a good cameo from Lucas.
The only one, Newcastle. I think he played well in that Newcastle game, but apart from that, that's about it.
Like, he's been poor since, because before then, we had that Southampton game where he played pretty well and he got that good assist for Son's goal. But then against Wolves, he was really poor. And then ever since then, I don't know, maybe he's lost confidence. His touch has seemed to completely desert him. Like, his first touch seems to be completely off every time the balls visit him.
Look at it from his perspective, right? He was starting every single game. He was one of our best players in the first half of the season. And Kulusevski comes in and he's not getting another sniff. He's limited to 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there.
Yeah, but that's on him.
It's got to affect his mentality and his confidence.
Yeah, I know, but I don't want a player who sees that as a insurmountable obstacle. You know what I mean? I want a player who sees it as a challenge. All right, Kulusevski's playing this well. You got to remember, Kulusevski's 21. He's very young. So Lucas is the experienced one. He's 29 years old. He's a stalwart in this team. He's got to be the one saying, okay, this kid's good. He's coming and he's taking my spot. I've got to improve my levels even more. I've got to find a new level, and I've got to start contributing regularly to this team. Otherwise, I'm not going to get a look in. I wouldn't want a mentality of players saying, oh, I feel sorry for myself. He's taking my spot. That's not fair. I only get 10 minutes now. That's his mentality, then he can be gone in the summer. Honestly, as much as I think he's a good player and talented, I don't want that. I'm not saying that is his mentality. I'm saying if it is, then that's not good enough to be part of the squad. You need someone like Bergwijn, who I think right now, as much as Son is obviously playing elite level, Bergwijn, I think, is showing something when he comes on, and he's showing exactly every time he's looking to make a difference, and he's at least making Conte think, look, this Bergwijn, as much as Son is, you can't drop Son at the moment. At least Bergwijn is, trying to make an impact. Lucas at the moment is not doing that. Yeah,
it's also hard when you're just getting 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there. But I think that as a backup right winger, he's a good player to have around.
Yeah, he is.
Next up, Bob Spur TV. Big up Bob, says the issues at United are the same as what this channel has since you've started having guests host. Too many divas. Fourth is ours. Positive energy a must.
Too many divas.
You can't be looking at Rez there. I can see Rez in the back. You can't be looking at Rez.
As a diva, come on.
You've got to be looking at no names mentioned. No names mentioned.
Exactly. No names need to be mentioned. You know who you are. No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
Wolves Fi with another super chat saying Spurs hit that like. Absolutely.
Come on.
Scroll down, hit that like button. We've got 1,200 people watching with us at the moment.
Wow. Great morning show.
Only around 200 likes. So get on those likes, guys. Smash that like button and smash that subscribe button.
Let's get to 1,000 likes for a morning show. It's rare. Come on. We never ask for likes on a morning show. Let's do it.
You haven't spoken about algorithms for a while.
No, that's because with the like, you've been so strong, guys. I haven't ever spoken about algorithms, but the algorithm is always working against us. So, look, we want Spurs content to be the first thing you see on YouTube. So hit that like button. It helps the recommendations. It helps us be seen. It helps support the channel. That's it. Straight up to 300. Come on. It's free. It's 1,200 of you watching. That's what? Not even a quarter of you have liked the stream. Come on. Scroll down. Click the like button. It's absolutely free.
Alex Samuels, long time no see, my friend. 18 months a member. Big up, Alex. He says, the Nuno era feels like a really, really bad dream. I wonder where we would have finished if he stayed. 7th, 8th? What do you reckon? Where would we have finished if Nuno stayed?
Around that, yeah.
7th or 8th?
We said at the beginning of the season that we were aimed at top 6, didn't we? We said top 6 would probably be like a okay season. That's probably what we're looking for. The way things were going, I mean, we had won 5 and lost 5. So even though we had lost 5, we'd still had won 5. So I guess it wasn't totally... I think the results weren't like totally disastrous, but performances were. even when we were winning, we weren't winning too well, were we?
Even those first 3 games, we won 1-0 for the 3 games, but we looked.
None of them were convincing. Apart from the City was pretty good, but none of them were really convincing, were they? Wolves, we got completely battered, and we completely luckily won. So, I think, to be honest, we might even be lower because would Kane have rediscovered this form if Nuno stayed? Because he had one goal in that.
Not to this level, anyway.
He had 1 goal under Nuno, didn't he? Against Newcastle.
1 goal under Nuno.
I don't think he ever would have found this form.
I reckon he would have got more goals, but he would never have, not to this level he's playing now.
You're probably looking at him finishing on like between 5 and 10 goals for the whole season, probably.
Yeah.
Whereas right now,
I think 10's probably a stretch.
Yeah. So I think you could even be lower than that.
How many shots on target we would have had for the whole season if Nuno would have stayed
just about, we would have
till the end of the season?
We would have just about made double figures, I think, of shots on target if Nuno would have stayed. Just about. Yeah, so I think we did a very good job getting rid of him.
And Alex, I can see you in the back end, so hopefully you've cleaned your room before you come on today.
We'll see. Quickly do it before we bring him on.
Quick little clean up before he comes on. No, I'm joking. Another super chat saying, who should we target for right wing back? I mean, there's always the rumours of Jed Spence. There's that Myler as well from Denmark that everyone's been talking about. Anyone else who tickles your fancy at right wing back?
Everyone talks about Lamptey, but he can't get in the Brighton team at the moment, it seems.
Isn't he recovering from an injury?
Well, yeah, he had a long-term injury, didn't he? But I don't know. Who else would I want a right wing back? I want probably someone outside the box from like Italy or something. I think that will probably be something that we'll go for. I don't know. I have to properly do my research on right wing backs, but someone who's definitely more comfortable going forward than the ones we have now. Because right now we don't have one who can take a player on. I think that could be a difference. Imagine we had a right wing back who actually dribble. How different we would be.
Like a Dumfries or someone like that.
Yeah, that would be so good. Spinazzola, yeah, I'd like him, but he's got a big injury, didn't he?
Isn't he a left?
He's right-footed but plays on the left, yeah.
Skinny Fat Huey with the super chat saying...
Like Myler. Myler also plays on the left, doesn't he? For Denmark, anyway.
Right. But for his club, he plays on the right.
I'm not sure.
I'm pretty sure he does, yeah. Skinny Fat Huey says Sessegnon or Reguilon at right wing back or Stevie B since he did for Jose. Would you look at that maybe from now to the end of the season?
Everyone keeps saying that Stevie B at right wing. I was willing to give it a go instead of playing Doherty there, but Doherty obviously did a good job. I think it's one of those like where we need to really force the issue. I don't think I'd ever start him there. No, I don't think I would. But I would if things are if we need a goal last 20 minutes or something, for sure I'll give him a go there because I think it gives us more attacking options and it stretches the game more. But I don't think it's the right thing to start him there when we have 3 other wing backs.
I wouldn't want to go for this option just because he's been so good in his position that he's playing in now. But Conte did say Kulu can play there.
Yeah, and you know when he played him there when we were losing 1-0 to Burnley and we had to force the issue. So for the last 20 minutes, he put him there because he knew that instead of having Emerson overlapping for the last 20 minutes, he had Kulu there and it gives another attacking option to have another forward player. I don't think he's ever going to start Kulu there. I don't think he will. Because he's doing too well in the front three. Why would you put him at wing back? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I agree. All right, well, that is the super chats for today. Let's start bringing on you guys now, and let's start off with your fabulous host on Saturday, which is Rez. Rez,
how are you guys?
Buddy?
Good to see you.
Hey, Rez.
I'm very well. Apologies before we start. My connection is playing silly buggers at the moment, so I might get these brownouts as we go. Do feel free to kick me off if I'm not coming through because I don't know what Sky are playing at, but they're not having fun at the moment.
I see. Yeah,
seems to be all right for now.
It's probably because they're struggling to sell Harry Kane or something. That's why. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
all the attention is on making sure that transfer happens, I think.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
They're not paying attention to anything else.
But, you know, we've had a big, long conversation today about was it the most perfect weekend for Tottenham? Or not even was it. It was the most perfect weekend for Tottenham. How do you see the kind of rest of the season playing out? And how important was this weekend in terms of our top 4 hopes?
Uh, Vital, really, really vital, and it really was a case of everything going our way. Um, you know, Everton winning against Man United, Brighton winning against Arsenal. Those were exactly what we needed. West Ham being beaten, those were what we needed. And whereas before, when things have gone our way, everything else has gone our way, and then it's up to us to sort of capitalize on it. We've fallen at the first hurdle. This time we didn't. This time, Dr. Tottenham made no appearance, and so it was a good result. It was a perfect set of results, as you rightly said.
When you're looking at obviously Tottenham now, I think so much has changed even from a week ago. When you're looking at the landscape of the top four race from a week ago, you're probably saying we're still outsiders. To now all of a sudden we've become favourites, and decent favourites all of a sudden. But when you're looking at our rivals in West Ham, Arsenal, and United in that race for the top four, how are you looking at them right now? Do you still think they've got a lot of life left in them, or are you seeing them starting to crumble?
I think Man United are in an almost existential crisis situation. They don't know who they are. They don't know where they're going. They don't know what to do next almost. And it is a massive conglomeration of egos in that dressing room, and led by a certain number 7, who is the biggest ego probably on the planet, let alone in football, who is disrupting any rhythm that they might try to sort of put together in the next few games. They may well turn around in the next game, after that sort of rather bruising result against Everton, and tonk somebody. It may happen, but consistency, because their identity is just this puddle of scum almost, not in terms of calling them scum. It's just this fetid resource that they can't really use to any great effect. West Ham have got a massive test ahead of them. They've got to concentrate on Europe. And so that will play a massive factor. And Arsenal's inexperience, both in the dressing room and in terms of management, I think will see them succumb to a lot of pressure. I believe that we're going to get top 4. I believe that it's not going to be easy, but I believe that we can and will do it. And I would ask everyone who's a Spurs fan to have that belief. This is what Bob Spur has been saying for the last few weeks. We need to change our mentality as well. Yes, it's going to be hard. Yes, it's not a case of saying we will do it because we deserve to do it, but we will do it because we can do it. And let's start putting phantoms like Spursy and those sort of tropes like Dr. Tottenham to bed once and for all, now that we have Conte.
And talking about Bob Spur, he's just put in a super chat saying, that's the diva I was talking about. Big love to Rez. So there you go. Yeah. You're the diva that Bob was talking about. Lovely stuff. And I think you're right when it comes to, we seem to be in the top 4 race, we seem to be the most well placed, and we seem to be the one. Not only are we playing the best, not only are we probably getting the best results at the moment, we've got momentum, but we also have the easiest fixtures, and we have got a bad injury. We'll talk about that in a sec. But everything does seem to be falling into place for that 4th place for Tottenham at the moment. And it's amazing, though, how much difference 1 week makes. Because a week ago, if I say we're favourites or that we're the best place, you can get a lot of disagreement. But now, after 1 week, you'd probably even get rival fans agreeing that we're probably best placed to get that top 4 space. And it's just amazing how quickly things can change in football. But can it change again that quickly is the question. Oh, is he still there?
Again, my connection died there, but I think I got the gist of what you're saying. in terms of it sort of things changing quickly, yeah, it can just sort of change at the drop of a hat. The key here is to make sure that as a club we are aware of what's going on around us, but concentrate on what we do. That's what I'm hoping Conte will give our squad. We'll say to them, look, you are a decent set of players. There's no massive difference between, let's talk about, our top four rivals. There is no massive difference in quality between this Spurs squad, the weaknesses that it has notwithstanding, and the other squads, like the likes of Arsenal, Man United, and West Ham. It comes down to that psychological issue. Don't crumble. We've crumbled so often in the past. It's always been a case of when adversity or when pressure arrives, we crumble. Let the others crumble. Let's have Arsenal, as Michael was saying actually on the fan reaction on Saturday. Dr. Dr. Man United, Dr. West Ham, Dr. Arsenal. Let's have them come alive for once. We can do this, and I think we will do this. It'll be hard, but we're going to do it. I genuinely believe.
All right. Wow. And last question, Matt Doherty's obviously been ruled out for the whole rest of the season. What's your reaction to that, and how much of a blow do you think it's going to be to not have him? Oh, he's gone. All right. Look, Rez, I think we've the connection has won the day. Unfortunately, we've succumbed to the bad connection. But thank you, Rez, for calling in. And we'll see you again very, very soon.
All right, and let's bring on another guest, Brian Daigle.
Here he is.
Brian.
It's not just me with the question mark. Thank God. Thank God. Someone else gets the question mark. How are you, boys?
All good, mate. How are you?
All good, all good. Before I get started, I've just been told there's two bits of things I need to do. First of all, I've just dropped a link in the chat, which is, and the boys would love you to say so. It's for Bobby K and his two kids' new channel, the Three Spurs Boys. Obviously, Bobby K and the kids are new to the family, but he has been him and the kids are well loved. He's a top dude. So there is the channel for everyone to subscribe. And yeah, talking of Bob's, I had Superman tell me to say, listen, it's all because of Bob Spurs. 7 wins out of 9 since he's come out of a coma.
He's turned our season around, Bob, hasn't
Bob
he?
Bob has turned our season around big time. Massively.
Absolutely incredible. And Bob, yes, it is a run. So yeah, big up to both Bobbies and the kids on their new channel as well.
I was watching your stream last night, Brian, when you sent me that link and the timestamps. First of all, massive love for what you were saying about We Are Tottenham on the stream last night. Massive love. But then it kind of went into a bit of a debate after that, and I found myself watching for a long time, and I found it really enjoyable. Alex was cracking me up. He is a top bloke. I love that guy so much. He was getting rattled, wasn't he?
He was. And Sean Butler just looking over at him was just hysterical. I've done it the wrong way. Every time I do it the wrong way. But yeah, Alex is such a great guy. Honestly, I mean, people, when they see him on screen, obviously, they know he loves a debate and his opinions can be wide off or what other people think are wide off the mark. But you both know, as I know, when you meet him in person, he's one of the most loveliest, friendliest, warmest guys you could ever wish to meet.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So everyone do go and subscribe to Tottenham on Tour. Absolutely brilliant content. And go and watch the stream from yesterday because I thought it was absolutely brilliant. It really was. But let's talk about the top 4 race in terms of the perfect weekend for Tottenham. How much in good stead does that stand us now?
Sure, mate. We were talking about it on that show at the beginning before you came on. It's actually been a fortnight of wonder, hasn't it? Who would have thought for 2 weeks in a row, pretty much all the results, apart from Chelsea winning thumping Southampton, I think every single result went our way and we capitalised on both of them. So it's looking very, very promising, isn't it? It's looking so promising. The goal difference we've now established, I think it's 10 goals ahead of the filth. And that's right, I said the filth.
Say it again.
The filth. So yeah, I mean that is it's like you said at the beginning of the show, to see where we were when you said a few games ago and seeing where it is now. What an incredible turnaround.
Yeah.
And obviously, we've got good momentum behind us. We've, as you said, 7 wins out of 9, scoring goals for fun, most goals in 2022, and a good fixture list as well come from now to the end of the season. But when you're looking at our rivals, Arsenal, United, and West Ham, in terms of rivals top 4, how do you assess them? What you can see from now to the end of the season? Do you know, we're 3 points ahead of Arsenal now. They do have a game in hand. But do you still see them having a second wind from now to the end of the season and potentially catching us, or how do you see their prospects?
Well, first of all, let's look down at them, because that's what we need to do right now. So let me just take a little look down. Listen, I mean, I said it as well after we went above them before they played Palace, is now they've got to be concerned about the goal difference. And one of these, should it come down to goal difference, and it still could, they need to work. Hello, can people hear me? Let's see if it's... I'm live again. I'm live all by myself. Why am I singing live on YouTube or attempting to sing? Never a dull moment with me. I don't know where Ben and Simeon are though. Oh, I'm in control of We Are Tottenham TV again. Okay. Right. What should I talk about? I'm going to just pick up Bobby K's channel again whilst I'm live. Why not? Everyone go and follow Free Spurs Boys. They're like family to me, so go watch them. But I'm hoping my 2 brothers who run this channel will be back to talk to me. They can't hear Ben and Sim. Ben and Sim, I can be heard and you can't. I don't know what to do. People ask me questions. I don't, Mikey, I don't know what to do here. Ben and Sim, can you hear me? Can anyone hear Ben and Sim? Are we back?
All right, guys, we are back. Apologies, we've had some technical difficulties with the audio. Hopefully, everyone can hear us now. Hopefully, everything is back to normal. Let's get Brian back on the stream. Brian,
It's always you, Brian. Why
what are you
always
doing to us, Brian?
Mate, do you know what? We hadn't even spoke about my nemesis. We hadn't even spoken about him.
It's because you celebrated too early, Brian. You were celebrating that you didn't get a question mark, and then everything started to go wrong.
I think you're right, brother. I think you're bang on the money there. I think you're right. I'm not going to say it anymore. Hope we can get through it.
Exactly. So are we getting top 4, Brian? No, I'm joking. Don't want to speak too early. Look, what we were speaking about is that, you know, looking from Tottenham perspective, obviously things are falling into place for us. And we got good fixtures, momentum, performances. But from our rivals' point of view, how would you look at them going in their run into now to the end of the season? Do you still believe that they have enough in them to, you know, either make a late charge for top 4 or challenge us right now? Or do you think it's Tottenham's for the taking?
So I think it's Tottenham's for the taking. And I honestly think after results now, Man U and West Ham are out of it. It's just between us and them. And obviously they've got Southampton. And I love that stat that you were saying, Ben, about Southampton or Arsenal when teams have been on a bad run or a heavy defeat and Arsenal play. Let's just hope that continues. I honestly thought that the North London derby was going to be winner takes all. But the way it's going, this could be wrapped up before it. We are just going from strength to strength, aren't we?
Yeah, but do you think the way Arsenal are playing right now, you know, I know it's only, but it's 2 defeats, but it is only 2 defeats in a row. You know, they're on good form before then. So do you think these 2 defeats are indicative of how they're going to be playing from now to the end of the season, or do you see them getting their form back?
Well, with Tierney out, that's a huge blow because I actually really rate Tierney. I think he's a great left back. And Partey is always hot and cold. But I think the injuries are starting to mount for them, and I don't think they're going to be able to recover from it. If they had their full team, maybe it's more of a discussion. But I think the way it's going, I just think they're falling apart. I really, really do. And the most concerned I was with during that Brighton game when we were watching it at the Scotland Yard was the final 6 minutes after they equalised, where they seemed to find a bit of momentum, but they still couldn't break Brighton down. So I think the injuries are just going to be too much for them to overcome.
What's your prediction, Brian? 4th place to 7th place?
Us, Filth, United, West Ham.
And it could actually change, couldn't it, if West Ham go out Europe this Thursday night? Do you reckon they can make a late surge for 5th?
Maybe, but how wonderful would this fortnight of wonder be if Tanguy Ndombele is the one that actually scores a goal to knock them out? Yeah, I mean, it's like if that happens, it's like when people say your name is on the cup or whatever. I don't know why, but I'm hoping for that reason that I can't even say it's that West Ham might go through just so it gives them more games to play. But yeah, when it comes to 5th, they may make a late charge, but only if they go out the cup.
And obviously, we've got our own injury problems now with Matt Doherty out injured from now until the end of the season. How much of a blow is that for you?
So first of all, if you want the definition of Spursy, Matt Doherty finally finds a bit of finds a bit of form, starts getting goals and assists, starts getting confidence, wallop off you go. That Spursy to a T. But do you know what? Fair play to that dude for even trying to carry on with which is a horrific injury. The fact that he tried to even stay on, I don't know if that hampered the injury. I don't know how that part of the muscle works. But you said something as well. You know what? And I was saying to Alex and Mike in the back end when you're trying to get the stream back up. When we're talking about Emerson stepping up, this reminds me of. Do you guys remember in the season we finished third with the Leicester season when Vertonghen got injured and Kevin Wimmer stood up out of nowhere? This just reminds me when we really, really need someone to stand up, a player that isn't a first-team player or isn't considered a fan favourite or a success. Kevin Wimmer did the job and stood up for those few games. Let's just hope the same thing happens with Emerson.
Yeah. We can hope, that's for sure. But
we need to hope.
but it's his real chance now, Emerson, isn't it? But with your outlook of the right wing back situation and with the resurgence of Matt Doherty and what have you still got the same opinion where we still need to move him on in the summer?
Well, do you know what I mean? As you said, he's one of the positions, or the right back is a position that if you look at Tottenham as a whole, as I said to Simeon on the post game show, not Simeon because he was blooming at the ground. As I said to resident Nick Barry, Sean, Phil Grant, the front three have become electric. The back three at the moment have become a rock. The middle two are doing their bits with Skip to come in. I think the wing backs are definitely upgradable. I still think, and it's a big if it was me, I would really try to save a bit of money to spend on other players by spending 6 weeks of pre-season, seeing if Bergwijn could be a right wing back, just like he did with Victor Moses, because we saw Bergwijn do it in a defensive position for Jose, and we know that Bergwijn's more of an attacking player. And I think this position could be made for him. I've heard reports or people saying that Bergwijn said he doesn't want that position. But if Conte could do his magic and say, listen, this is where you could play, I could turn you into a star, I think it's a real shout for him. But if not, the wing-backs definitely need upgrading.
So would you look to sell both Doherty and Emerson this summer?
No, I mean, what I would do is I'd get rid of one of them and then try Bergwijn. And if this doesn't work, if they went down this avenue, and it didn't work out, maybe look at in January to try and get someone in. But if Bergwijn does want to play that position, I would get rid of one of them and try and bring and upgrade him.
All right. Brian, always a pleasure, my friend. And we'll speak to you next time.
A pleasure, my man. I'm just going to leave again and say, go watch Bobby's kids. They're brilliant guys. Love you guys as always. And you know what? I'm not going to say it today. I'm going to give that man. He's cut the Wi-Fi off. I don't want him to kill your stream, so I'll go quietly today. But have a great one, guys, and to everyone in the chat, have a great day.
Nice one,
Cheers,
Brian.
mate.
Good to see you, my
Cheers,
man.
Brian.
Later.
Speak to you soon, brother. Let's keep going now, and let's move on to Mikey. You all right, Mikey?
Hey guys, how you doing?
Good, mate. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I was been talking to Brian when the stream went offline, but I'm glad that it's all back up now. I'm glad that you're all, you've finally paid the electricity bill. So
Just about, yeah. We forgot to pay it, but just that little break.
To put a few coins in the Lecky meter.
Exactly.
okay, fair enough.
But look, Mikey, and enough about the stream. How was your weekend? Not bad, right?
You know what? Yeah, I had a pretty decent weekend. So the first and foremostly, Tottenham won. The missus, Leah, her team won. Like they battered in France, which is good.
A hat trick for Mbappe and a hat trick for Neymar, yeah.
And a hat trick of assists for Messi.
For Messi. I mean, they're clicking just a little bit too late, but it's at least it's working for them. And then Arsenal lost. Man United lost. Obviously, Chelsea beat Southampton 6-0, which, going into the game with Arsenal, Southampton 6-0 loss, their annual sort of 5-goal plus battering came. So it's all set up for Arsenal to lose against Southampton.
What's going on at Arsenal at the moment, Mikey? What do you think the problems are there in the last two games? Two damaging defeats. What's happening there, do you think?
I would argue that the Liverpool game probably has a factor to do with it because I was looking at the stats. So I was looking at Arsenal's run, and it's obviously three defeats in the last four. Obviously with the international break dividing that, but in between that they won 1-0 against Aston Villa in a game where there was only 4 shots on target combined for both teams. So that speaks to me that obviously Aston Villa weren't in good form, but it speaks to me that they've had these problems since before the international break, and I was a little bit. I wasn't expecting them to lose to Palace the way that they did, but I think there's more than just obviously the multitude of factors. Aubameyang's lost, and they don't really have a clear-cut goal scorer. You're looking at Smith Rowe and Saka, Martinelli, and now that they've lost their most natural left back, he doesn't even trust Nuno Tavares. He's playing Granit Xhaka at left back, and he's playing Martin Odegaard as a CDM. That's how much he doesn't trust Tavares. Because if you're a manager, you realistically play Tavares and then have a double pivot of Xhaka and Lokonga. But obviously, it's looking like he's going to play Xhaka at left back. So there's going to be gaps opening up in their midfield. Partey's, is he out for the season? Because I know Tierney is, but is Partey
he's a good few weeks, but I'd have to say it could be the season depending on how the scans go.
Okay, well, obviously, wish both of them a speedy recovery. I put Crabbe aside for a second. I wish both of them a speedy recovery, but it's very opportune that their injuries came at such a time when, obviously, Tierney. Obviously, if we go into the derby, Tierney would be up against Kulusevski, and that's not a battle I really want to see because I know Tierney on his day can mark any good right winger out of a game. So obviously, Kulu's not good. Kulu's amazing, but still, I'm glad to see, and they've opened up a huge hole in their midfield. So there's definitely Arsenal look right for the taking at the moment, and their run of 4 games coming up. I wouldn't be surprised if they get a result against Southampton, especially after they're coming off a 6-0 defeat. You can go for a run of games, but a damaging defeat by more than 5 goals, that does something psychologically more than losing 4 or 5 games can ever do, because that's a shock to the system. So I wouldn't be surprised if they do beat Southampton, but I don't see them getting a result against Chelsea, and I definitely don't see them getting a result against Chelsea. And that Arsenal-Man United game, if that's a draw, then that works for everyone. That works for me perfectly. If they draw that game, that works for a Tottenham fan perfectly. So,
but talking about injuries, Mikey, Matt Doherty now out for the remainder of the season. Yeah, what was your reaction to that?
It's a difficult one because Matt Doherty was just coming into form, and yet I don't think his absence is going to be as costly as some people make out, or as some persons may be thinking. Not people make out, some persons may be thinking. I think we're going to be playing against sides where maybe for the majority. Let me check our running, because if you look at playing styles, Brighton, they like to. I guess I remember when we played them a few weeks ago in our game in hand. When we beat them 2-0, I think we had 52 to 48% possession. So we're going to be playing teams where we're going to have the majority of the ball, and I think that works for Emerson. I think that works for Emerson more when he's not going to be, because obviously Emerson did okay, I guess, in the first half, but Jacob Ramsey and Coutinho, they sort of not ran him ragged, but he didn't produce a very good display in the first half defensively. So I would much rather have Doherty, but I guess for the bigger profile games, the athleticism that he has and it's just him going forward. But I'm glad that we've now got Kulusevski's attacking output I'm hoping that it can sort of make up for the lack of attacking output that we're going to have down the right wing back side, because if you're going to look, Reguilon or Sessegnon will definitely get forward more than Emerson will on that right. So I'm happy that we've got a replacement, but I just wish our replacement, I would rather have first choice right back out and then have Doherty come in as a replacement rather than Doherty being our first choice and then Emerson being a replacement. I would like to sell Emerson because we can definitely make more money for him than we can for Doherty, just purely based on age. And he's the starting right back for Brazil, I believe. Or is Dani Alves still playing? I can't remember, but
Yeah, he's in rotate. He gets in the squad, but yeah, he's going to have a big opportunity to step up now from now to the end of the season, because there are rumours of him leaving at the end of the season to teams like Atletico. But in terms of Matt Doherty's injury, how does that change your opinion, or does that affect your opinion on whether he should be here next season?
I think he's. Conte wants attacking right backs. It's no secret. You know, Victor Moses, Achraf Hakimi, you know, etc. You know, Hakimi's probably definitely the best of them. But look how effective Doherty's been once he finally clicked. I don't think it was a question of his ability, because he was always sort of making those runs. But once he got that goal against Leeds, once he finally got that one spark, he's come into life. And I think definitely as an attacking right back, you'd be hard pressed to find a better right back in form. Obviously, Trent Alexander-Arnold notwithstanding, a better attacking right back in the Premier League based on current form. Obviously, again, hands off. I'm saying Trent is not included in that equation, because he's simply levels above everyone else. But yeah, I would. So I'm looking to. It boggles me that Atletico Madrid of all teams want Emerson, because they're renowned for their defensive capabilities. And I know they came for Trippier, but Trippier was always like, people I think underestimate Trippier's defending ability a bit. But I don't think Emerson Royale he's definitely better. Sorry, he's better defensively than attacking. But I was going to sneeze. Sorry, he's better defensively than attacking. But
he's put your finger on your nose.
And
have you got a feather?
I've got really bad hay fever. Sorry. I don't think Atletico would be the right fit for Emerson. I don't think him and Simeone would. I think him and Simeone would definitely butt heads, because Emerson, he's a feisty character. He's not like, I remember when he got in a touch with Zaha and stuff. So, but actually, I think Tanganga's injury might cost us here, because if whatever superstitions you have, if Emerson gets injured, we have no right backs, and obviously Tanganga will probably be the next person down the line to fill in that position. But obviously, we know for ages that he's been out to the end of the season. So that's now Skip, Tanganga, and Doherty, who are all out. Three sort of more defensive than attacking players. But luckily, our recruits in January have allowed us to keep up momentum. So it was in all aspects except Doherty's injury, results, everything. It was the perfect weekend for Spurs. I feel really bad for Doherty, but I do think Emerson will put a shift, and I don't see Emerson doing anything too special. I just hope he doesn't. I just hope he doesn't perform really horrifically. Like, I hope it's not going to be 10 amazing performances and one subpar performance. Like in the starting 11, you're going to have the 10 regulars, and then Emerson, I hope he doesn't stick out like a sore thumb like he has in previous sort of
but
games.
let's be honest, Mikey, in the last few games he started, I mean, we've won 4-0, we've won 5-1, we beat Man City 3-2. We lost to Burnley 1-0 as well, but you got some good performances in there. Hasn't really
Got some good performances in there, but obviously like that is, you can't attribute that to Emerson, nor can you say it's had nothing to do with him, because it's a team effort at the end of the day. It's a team effort, so obviously you have to praise him for that. But obviously the Aston Villa win was completely down to the front three. And when you're looking at the defenders that shined when Villa were piling on the pressure, you look at Romero, Dyer, Lloris. They were the kind of figures that were, Emerson Royale didn't stick out to me as a player that's had a good performance in those games. Like when we beat Newcastle 5-1, it was Matt Doherty getting the assists. It was Kane, Kulu, Son. I think Emerson Royale's just sort of been there while other players have.
I mean, he scored though, didn't he?
Oh yeah, shit! But that was Emerson Royale's goal. It was reflective. It was a really poorly struck shot that just trickled into the bottom corner. I don't want to slack on the guy too much, because I think he has potential somewhere in there. But I would be more confident going into the final few games in the season with Matt Doherty as our starting right back. But that's not the way the cookie crumbles. You can't get everything in your favour, as Spurs fans know all too often. So let's just get a result and get the Champions League back to the stadium that befits our status and our brilliant stadium and the players we have. And obviously, come on, you Spurs.
All right,
Big up,
Mikey.
Mikey. Come on, you
Nice to speak
Spurs.
to you, mate.
Nice one. Let's keep going, guys. Let's keep going. And we've got a welcome back to the studio for Alex Samuels.
Come on,
big up,
Alex.
Alex. Long time no see. Nice, clean bedroom as well. How you doing?
Yeah, it's not bad. Yeah, I'm good. I'm
all
good,
right.
thanks. I'm good, thanks.
Is that camera set up in the background there?
What do you say?
Was that a camera set up in the background? Was that a GoPro?
Oh, those things. Oh no, they're like VR headset like things. I got like
nice.
years ago. Yeah.
Spending some time in the
yeah, I got,
metaverse.
Yeah, exactly. Gotta listen to Zuckerberg. Get ahead of the game.
Lovely stuff.
Yeah, no, look, I'm good. I'm good. I think I'm gonna upset some people.
Oh,
I think I'm gonna ruffle. I think I'm gonna rustle some feathers from a few people. I've been saying before the past fortnight I thought it was done. I thought those 2 home games we lost consecutively. I thought that was the kill. It was a killer. Was it Southampton and Wolves, right? And it was obviously up until recent events, my view has changed on that. You know, it's there's a lot more positivity now. But I'm looking at the reaction from the past 2 weeks, and I'm thinking, is everyone seeing this? Am I thinking in a completely different way to everyone else? Am I seeing a completely different scenario here? Which is, I mean, we're 3 points ahead of Arsenal and they've got a game in hand. You know, it's not. We don't have like a 6-9 point lead on them. This isn't great.
I think you've got to take into account though. It's not just the league position and the points that are on there, but you're looking at Arsenal. They've lost 2 very damaging defeats, lost 2 very key players to their team, and at the moment Spurs are just blowing away teams. We're scoring 4 or 5 goals a game.
True. That's true, but this brings me on to that was exactly what I was thinking. This brings me on to my next point, which is I don't trust this team still. I still do not trust this team. They have let us down too many times. The amount of games that I could call back to where they have consistently let us down, where it mattered most. Now, the question is, has Conte got rid of that side of Spurs? I don't think he fully has yet. I think if we give him enough time and resources, he has the potential to eventually. But I'm not 100% sure he has already. So when we're looking at the next lineup of games, the last final 7, and yes, we clearly have a better run than all of our rivals for that 4th spot. But you've got, first of all, Liverpool away, which I'm actually really looking forward to that game because I think it'll be a really good barometer of how far we've come under Conte. Like he said, how he wanted us to play Chelsea again, just to see how we're doing. I think it'll be really interesting. I'm not expecting us to get anything out of that game, you know, granted, because that is when Liverpool are going to be, you know, that is going to be do or die for Liverpool. So you've got to put your hands up and go, okay, look, if we get out of there, a point you'd love, you know, that would be an incredible result. But I you know, and so you've got a potential loss there already, and I think there are many more twists and turns to come this title race. Oh, in this title race, top 4 race.
If only, Alex. If only.
No wonder you're pessimistic. You all think we're winning the league.
That's next season, Alex. That's next season.
What is everyone smoking here? Winning the league? No, I'm joking.
But Alex, when you're looking at the fixtures, right? All the teams that we're playing, I mean, more or less, the majority of the teams that we're playing is teams that Conte has already beaten in a Spurs shirt. When you got Brighton, he's already beaten them twice.
Yep.
Brentford, we beat them not long ago at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Leicester, we beat them at their place. Liverpool, we got a draw at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Arsenal, obviously, is an embarrassing defeat. Burnley, obviously, we lost to, but at home, it's a very different game. And Norwich, we beat 3-0 at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
Yeah, and look, to be honest with you, this is why I wanted to come on today. I really want just reassurance. I want to get on the I want to get on the hype train for 4th place. I really do. But there was just part of me. I cannot take another collapse like we had. What was it? Was it 10 points clear? Like this was a year. This was
about Harry Redknapp. Yeah, we were good like
Harry
13
Redknapp
points clear.
Like this is what I mean, and it's
But
just
Alex,
the
you're
history.
missing it. You're missing it. Arsenal are the ones collapsing here. It's been flipped,
yes.
Alex.
Yeah, but it could
they
be.
were
It
6
could be
points
a
clear
double
with the game in hand, and now they're 3 points behind.
But there's still 7 games to go. Yeah, this isn't like, if we get 6 points clear, I will be more confident. But 6 points clear and equal amount of games, then yeah, with the amount of games coming up, you'd probably assume, even if we falter a bit, Arsenal will run out of road to catch us. But with so many, I mean, that is what 21 points still to play for, isn't it?
Correct.
So that's a lot. How many points are we on now?
57.
57. So look at it. That's still what about? That's still a quarter to a third around the amount of points we still need to play for, potentially. So this is what I mean. I'm just trying to get a point across that I do think we need to just calm a bit down about we're gonna do it.
Have some confidence about you, Alex. Come on.
That's why I came on.
I understand if we were still being inconsistent, then I get your point. But we've won 7 out of 9. Does that not earn a bit of trust in this team for you, or not yet?
No.
Why not?
Because we did really well under Mourinho for about that amount of time, and then we collapsed against Liverpool, and then from there on, we lost 1 game, and the mentality changes. That's why.
If we win our next 3 games, will your opinion still be like this? Because we will have Liverpool and Arsenal coming up.
Next 3 games, do you say?
Yeah, Brighton, Brentford, and Leicester.
Then that will leave 4 games to play.
But 2 of them being Liverpool and Arsenal.
Yes, but I think you need to look elsewhere as well this time of the season. Let's focus on ourselves, but you do need to look around.
So Alex, fine. Let's look elsewhere. What are you seeing from Arsenal at the moment makes you think they can still claw it back?
History. That's it. Like honestly,
recent history says they're not going to claw it back.
All logic that you're saying says that we have a very good chance of doing it. Mm-hmm. I am just such a pessimist, I guess, with Tottenham. I looked at that Villa game, and I thought that game is so important. If we win that game, it could change everything. Because that is a Villa away is such a tough fixture to play, really. Mm-hmm. And we did very well for half the game. Obviously, the first half, and that is the first half. It was a bit concerning how easily they won that midfield battle and were able to just get onto our defence. But as we were saying about Arsenal, what they got to show, history, and we know that they can pull a run of results together. We know they can because
history tells us that Spurs have finished above Arsenal every year for the past 5 years?
This will be year number 6. Yeah,
this will be 6th year if we finish above them.
Spot on again. And how much I would love for after the North London derby to not see hashtag St Tottenham's Day or whatever the hell it's called. How much I'd love for that not to happen.
Alex, there are kids growing up right now. There are kids in the Arsenal fan base. There are kids in the Spurs fan base who don't even know what St Tottenham's Day is.
That's a good point. That's a good point. We really need equipment. I mean, to be honest,
we don't need to stoop down to their level. It should just be the norm. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm really sorry to be negative today. Because I know we should all be really happy and positive. The team, and you know what? Credit to the team because they have been playing so well, and the January signings have made such a massive impact. And we got those deals over the line. It's proved to really be the difference between us and our rivals at this stage. But especially you've got Matt Doherty injury now, which said if you said that a couple of months ago, I'd been like, oh, so. But now it seems, it could be a significant thing. Add another injury onto it, and then all of a sudden, you're getting trouble. If you get a midfield injury, then Winks is coming in. So and then
I get your reservations, Alex. I really do, because I was saying only last week that we need to stay grounded. We shouldn't get overconfident in terms of what we're trying to achieve this season. But when you're looking at Arsenal, when you're looking at Man U, and when you're looking at Tottenham, there seems to be a clear front runner at the moment.
Yeah. We're for sure the front runners, absolutely. And can I just say, Man United? Oh my God, you guys mentioned it earlier in the show, and I purely because I'm really interested in the football business. I take a really big interest in Man United and what they do. Obviously, because they're such a ginormous entity of a football club. It is awful, absolutely terrible. There, what that leadership and management have done at Man United. I mean, keeping Ole in the job, not getting Conte, and appointing now probably is going to be Ten Hag. Which and can I just say, all the Man United fans that were putting down Poch for the thing that he's done, oh my God, like for example, Mark Goldbridge, I was listening to him and he was talking about Pochettino and how awful an appointment he'd be for Man United, and then saying Ten Hag would be some miracle worker. It's just not true. I think Poch would be a great appointment for Man United. Absolutely brilliant. And purely from a emotional side, we're very lucky that it seems like that's not going to be happening. So thank goodness for that.
Poch will be our next manager.
Poch will be our next manager, do you say?
Yeah.
I'd like for him to maybe achieve more before he comes back. Bring a bit more experience and know how to win before he maybe comes back to Tottenham. But obviously, we'd love it anyway, no matter what.
I've got
coming back.
I've got a comment for you, Alex, from Brian Daigle, and he says, "Have I entered a parallel universe where I am the positive one and my man Alex Samuels is the negative one? Big love and respect, Alice. Love ya."
Oh, thanks, Brian. No, look. All I can say, when I go.
What's happened to you, Alex?
I know. This team,
I've watched you. It's broken.
I've watched.
Nuno broke you, man.
Yeah. I sent a comment to you guys earlier. Like the Nuno era feels like a really, really bad dream, but maybe seems to be one I can't wake up from. If we get top 4, it would be huge. And I remember you guys were saying I think it was like a couple of weeks ago, this really is a sliding doors moment for the two sides in North London. This could really be era defining who gets top 4, because if we have those increased finances for the summer, I truly believe we're gonna have a huge summer because we have to. There is no other option for Tottenham Hotspur. There were a lot of situations we still need to solve. Conte is doing so well with this team. The fact that I'm still sitting here saying, I don't trust them, but they're doing really well, shows how good of a job he has done with this team. And we need to back him in the summer. We have to back him. There is simply no excuse for fans back in the stadium. By Tottenham's own admission, our finances are now stable. So I'd love to see that. The wing-back situation has to be sorted out because it's not to what Conte wants. I know you guys were just talking about it, potentially Doherty or Emerson leaving, and I was really I feel quite bad for Emerson, to be honest. I feel a bit sorry for him because he hasn't performed to his best ability, but he came into a side that wanted a right back. As opposed to a right wing back, and now he's being asked to play something different. So of course he's not going to be playing at his best. So I was really excited for Emerson to come in, but it just really hasn't worked for one reason or another, and I think he is going to have to go in the summer. In my opinion, he's just not what Tottenham need right now. I don't know how much money we're going to get for him. So that's a bit concerning. But yeah, look, guys, overall, if we keep going like this, of course, I feel like we're going to finish top 4, of course. But it would be such an I don't even know if it's overachievement. I don't think that's the right word, considering the manager that we have. And I still feel like we have such good quality in our squad with 2 world-class players in Kane and Son up front, with Kulu, who looks to be a really top player. But we're just gonna have to see. I want to be 6 points clear with equal games. That's what I want to see.
I think that in terms of your point about overachieving, I think that from the start of the season, nobody expected us to get top 4 with Nuno. So in that sense, it's an overachievement. And it's also an overachievement in the sense of when Conte came in. I mean, where were we? We were 8th in the league or something when Conte came in?
7th or 8th, wasn't it?
Yeah, we were around that mark, weren't we? So you got to say that's an overachievement as well.
9th.
Yeah, absolutely.
9th.
God. Yeah. I mean, just in fairness, the league was, I remember at that point, it was quite condensed. It was a very strange sort of mid-table to top battle. But yeah, I mean, that speaks for itself, doesn't it? Conte has done so on the summer. We need to get him potentially signed up to a new deal, if we do get the signings in that he approves of. But we'll see. At the same time, I say we're going to have a big summer, but are we going to invest in a £50 million centre back and a £50 to £60 million striker, and a £30 million right wing back? Maybe not. Maybe not. We're not going to get all fires put out in one summer. That would probably be a bit unrealistic.
But there's a lots of players on the free market this summer as well, which you got to remember that we could potentially dip into.
Yeah,
your Eriksen's
Eriksen's an interesting one, because I've seen a lot of people saying they want him back, but as far as I can remember, he at Inter, he played he played a 2 up top, and then probably when Eriksen did play, Eriksen in behind, right? Or
I think Eriksen played in a 3-man midfield for Inter.
Was it 3-man? Oh, okay.
Yeah, with Brozovic and Barella.
Yeah. So maybe he could do a job, but personally, I always really liked Eriksen when he played a bit further up and not that deep. I remember there was a bit of debate when Eriksen was playing for us about what was his best position, deeper or a bit further up the field. I always liked him a bit further up personally. But Eriksen is clearly going to be a different player than he was 2-3 years ago now. So clearly,
he's better.
Obviously, what's happened to him? Better? Oh, wow. Well, I don't know. But if it happens, it happens. And if Conte wants him, I want him. I think, and we should all want him. I think that's really the lessons we've got to learn from this season, isn't it? Because Bentancur and Decky have made such a tremendous impact. But with Bentancur, actually, just one more thing on him. I think that we do need. I think Winks is probably going to go this summer. It looks like for me. And we're going to need another midfielder, and we can't just be aiming for that sort of level. I think we need to get a top midfielder, because I don't think Bentancur. He's been good, but I don't think he's that top quality we need to take the further step. If that makes sense, I still think we need a better starting midfielder that can rotate with Skip and Højbjerg. And then Bentancur can maybe take a sort of Winks role, coming in when he's needed. Personally, that's what I feel, because I feel like he has been good, but to take a further next step. Because look, Conte wants a challenge for the league. That is why he is here. He does not want to be here to get 4th place. He doesn't even generally do that well in Europe, So he is here to do that. And if I watched that game, the City Liverpool game, my word, it's going to take something to catch up to them.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Like seriously, it just so happens we're in a time where we have two truly phenomenal teams in the Premier League that are, that, in my opinion, the two best teams on the planet.
Yeah.
You know, so it is going to take something truly magnificent, and we're going to have to get things spot on in the summer if we want to stand any chance of doing that.
Yeah, because you know that if you spend the money in the right way, you can get to the right. Look at Liverpool, for instance. Like when Klopp came in, they were nowhere near what they are now. Spurs were ahead of them at that time. They identified the targets. They got in the best players in those positions, and they're reaping the benefits now. So that's exactly what we need to do.
Yeah, 100%. And the funny thing is, obviously, you've got the Luis Diaz and Kulusevski scenario, and it actually kind of happens when we don't typically get our first choice target. The second somehow just comes good. It's happened a few times in the past, let alone with managers as well. So, just look at Pochettino, for example, because we were getting
Louis
was it
van
Frank de
Gaal.
Boer?
I think it was Louis van Gaal, wasn't it?
We went for Van Gaal and de Boer, I think, before
Yeah,
choosing for Poch.
So third choice. It just sometimes happens. So for example, like someone with Jed Spence, you know, there's going to be a lot of teams swooping in for him. So that's something to be we'll need to be alerted to. I'm sure we are. So if we don't get our first choice targets, I think we should just stay calm. I think that's what we've learned. I'm sure we've got a list of who we want, and Conte is in constant dialogue with the club of who he wants, and yeah.
All right. Just before we let you go, Alex, I want your prediction: 4th place all the way down to 7th.
Well, I've just now spent the last 15 minutes going on about how much I'm worried about us getting not getting top 4, and now I'm going to sit here and look like a mug saying, yeah, we're going to get 4th place, because actually, you know, I've got to predict us getting 4th place. I've got to, even though every Tottenham instinct in me is saying it's not going to happen, but we have to. So yeah, I'm going to say 4th place Tottenham Hotspur, 5th place. Probably Arsenal. I probably Arsenal. And then 6th, Man United, because I think actually West Ham will do quite well in the Europa League. I think they're going to go through to the next round. And yeah, and obviously we've seen how that can have a major effect. And can I just say one last final thing? Thank God we didn't get past the Europa Conference League group stage. Could you imagine right now? If we were having to play God knows what teams, you know, to win a trophy that would get us into just the Europa League.
Yeah.
And a trophy that even if we won, we'd be ridiculed for. So you know, it wouldn't have made a blind bit of difference.
Agreed.
Would it? So
I'm so happy with
I think under Nuno the Conference League meant a lot more than it would have done under Conte.
Yeah, I mean, with Conte, it would be an annoyance to Conte.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it?
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, and I mean that Nuno era, it's just such a bad dream, honestly. Honestly.
Well, wake up, Alex, man, wake up. The dream's over.
I need to, and hopefully, you know, Brighton at home, it should be simple. It really should be. They're coming off a great win for them, but come on, let's just do it, please. Because it'll be such a good season to come 4th.
Agreed.
Right. Big up, Alex. Good to chat to you again, mate. Really good to chat to you.
No, thank you, guys. Thank you.
Good to see you, man.
We'll speak to you soon.
Good to see you. See you. Bye-bye.
Up the Spurs. All right, let's keep going, guys. And it's time for the Joricle. Long time no speak as well. Jory, how you been?
I'm good, man. How you been? And Sim?
We're 4th in the league. We're 3 points 4th. Arsenal dropping like flies. What more can we be happy about? You know, things are looking good at the moment, aren't they, Jory?
Yet another perfect weekend. We had one before, and this one was perfect. I called in on Friday, and I said, like, now I'm scared of not calling in on the Fridays, the match previews, because I feel like if I don't do it, we won't get these perfect weekends, which seem
you have to keep calling in, Jory.
I will definitely do that. I have an announcement as well, guys.
Go on.
We love an announcement.
Exclusive.
So Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people in the Premier League will be sorry to hear that, but unfortunately, Dr. Tottenham is retiring. But do not worry, Dr. Gunnar is taking over his practice, and he will service anybody who wants that service.
Brilliant announcement, Jory. Absolutely fantastic stuff. These are the announcements we like to hear.
Dr. Arsenal will see you now.
Exactly. And to our Spursy friends, I've sat through some Spursy stuff today. It was difficult to listen. If you're still feeling really Spursy and you see me in the stadium or anywhere in London or just anywhere in general, just don't hesitate. Come up to me and I'll give you a free slap and a shake.
Big up the Jory.
Come on, Jory. What entrance. Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. Yeah, as you say, the weekends couldn't have gone any better, really, for us this weekend.
If losing, then it would be absolutely perfect. But apart from like anything that matters, it was a perfect weekend.
Yeah, and when you're looking at Arsenal right now, obviously 2 defeats in a row, they're getting injuries. They are still only 3 points behind us with a game in hand. So is there, when you're assessing them right now, obviously their form doesn't look great, but do you still see some life for them to gain their form back in this last stretch of games?
No, I actually see a collapse coming up with them. I mean, I think we're seeing the start of it. I think, and it's maybe not too difficult to imagine. I mean, these young players have been maybe not outperforming, but they've been performing to the max, and maybe more importantly, there hasn't been enough pressure on Arteta to kind of mess it up. Now he's starting to mess it up. You know, the thing about Arteta is he's an ideologue. He's an ideologue like Pep is an ideologue, like Klopp is an ideologue. But unlike those two guys, he doesn't have the experience. He doesn't have the pedigree, you know. So he has a worldview of football, and he does everything to fit everything into that, which has never been my favorite cup of tea. This is why I like Mourinho. This is why I love Conte and stuff. They have a system. They have a identity, but they're men of reality, you know. They're practical. They take account what's happening, you know. And what we saw now was like Arteta all by himself completely slaughtered his midfield, you know, and just to cover a left back spot, you know. So it was a terrible mistake. I was watching Lee Judge go over the game. I completely agreed with him, you know. Arteta completely. They didn't have to lose that game. They might have lost anyway, but the reason they lost was, or the main reason was because of a complete tactical error from Arteta, in my view. And I think we'll see that more and more now when the pressure starts piling on, you know. So.
Yeah, and Arsenal as well, you know, they had a lot of things in their favour this season. You know, no European football, very few injury worries as well throughout the whole season. They've pretty much had their consistent 11 throughout most of the season. They're not going to have these luxuries, especially the first one, no European football. And also they exited all the cups very early as well, didn't they? So they're not going to have these luxuries next season when the games start piling on. So if they can't get top 4 this season, is it a missed opportunity for them, do you think?
Yeah, completely. But you know, that being said, also is like, what are they going to do with that top 4? You know, they're not going to get any real results in any of the competitions, even. You know, and I could have said the same about us, but now we're getting top 4, which means that unless Levy does something stupid, Kane is staying, Conte is going all out. We're buying and signing free agents and so on this summer. We're going for the title next season. That's how it's going to be, guys. And to be honest, unless there's a board mishap, which I'm skeptical that will be now. I think Levy will understand, and the rest of the group will understand. This is something that has to be back now. We will win the league. I mean, if you add it up. We will. I'm even like, if it hadn't been for Doherty's injury now, I would have put. I was gonna put money on us winning Liverpool. So it's not only the momentum, guys. It's the structure and I talked about it with Doherty. Everybody now is getting graduating from the Conte school, so everybody is starting to be able to think and see what Conte sees in games, and that's when it becomes almost unstoppable. I would say the first half at Villa, we did revert a little bit. We lost the plot a little bit, and that, the way I saw it, was that Villa very rightfully did two things. I mean, rightfully or not rightfully, it was shameless to see. First of all, the referee was absolutely atrocious. He should get a reprimand for that game. There's 2 injuries from that game, and there should have been more injuries. To be honest, it's only luck that we didn't have more injuries from that game. But what we saw there was that they pressed really, really insanely, but also they kind of focused on Emerson, which we'll be seeing a lot of. And actually what we see there, because the thing about Emerson is he's very young, he has a lot of nervous energy. But when he came in, he's a very good left back, but he is that. He's not quick to assimilate. He hasn't been as quick as Doherty to assimilate and stuff like that. So he's quite good defensively, but when he needs to think outside of it, it's a little bit too much for him to cope with. But also what we see a lot, and we saw this in this game especially, is that when we get this pressure on Emerson's side, you saw Romero getting out of position, he didn't get the timing right on his perfect when he darts in and stops the attack. He got it wrong 2 or 3 times, and it was actually Emerson stopping a clear go at goal more than once there. So that's kind of a little bit of a hole we have to work on. And I think what I predict now is we're going to see a lot of improvement from Emerson. Emerson is going to get a lot of special love from Conte now. But I also think we're going to see Romero overlapping him and being more of a support in the going forward part of it. But you also saw, if you're not great at going forward, do what he did in that second half. Give Kulo the ball. That's all you need to do. Just give Kulo the ball and stand your ground, and we'll be fine. We're not down for the count, even if we. It's unbelievable how much we kind of feel like we might be missing Doherty now, but. I feel like Emerson is similar to Reguilon. If you look at Reguilon's attempt, his shot at goal, that was actually a pretty good shot at goal. But all his movement, all his energy was so nervous up to that, you could, if you're not paying attention, you might feel like Reguilon wasn't doing a good job, but he was actually doing. And these guys are sometimes, they're a little bit more high-strung than we might want to see, but. Like I said, I predict now that Emerson is going to show a lot of improvement going forward. And by the way, my prediction, that's also, I'm really owning my name now, So I predicted that Lloris would have a much improved game.
He did, yeah. On Friday, he said Lloris is going to have a great game. I remember that, yeah.
Yeah, and I had the goal.
We don't call you the Joracle for no reason.
Exactly. Well, I miss the target all the time as well. But lately it's been working. I had the 4-0 as well, because I felt that we would keep the clean sheet this time. I feel like every game we go through now we went through that first half. You won't see us I think the next couple of games you won't see us be this disorganized by a hard press. We'll play better out of that press. And like Conte brilliantly said, okay, my guys are not up to it. today, let's take some long balls, like Kane, you go in on the middle, and I'm sorry, I think, is that the best headed assist in football history?
Definitely,
I
definitely up there. Definitely up there.
I've never seen anything like that assist, That was unbelievable.
Beautifully weighted through ball assist with his head. A lot of people in the comments saying Jory 316. I don't know if that's a Bible passage.
It's not. It's Stone Cold Steve Austin 316.
316. Oh, I see.
I'm clueless here. You've got to fill me in with the reference. I don't know.
Stone Cold Steve Austin is a WWE wrestler, or WWF, but just came back last week. And yeah, he's also got no hair like you, basically.
Oh, is that the only correlation? They said they want Jory 316 t-shirts made.
Let's do a collaboration, guys.
Doesn't Steve Stone Cold have the 2 beers? I need a Jory celebration like that. You go search up on YouTube, Jory.
Once we win the league next year,
do that
sure
celebration.
We'll get it out of there.
But listen, guys, I know it's crazy to talk about these things, but also we have to. I feel like Alex, the way he was talking and stuff. We all feel that. But if we want to really stop being Spursy, we need to really take, sum up the evidence, look at it, really try and take our emotion out of it, and just look at it. And we've been bamboozled before, like I said many times. But this time around, now we're seeing even more evidence than we saw with Mourinho, and even more evidence really than we saw, apart from maybe the best season with Poch. We're seeing that the players, even beyond their skill set, is more about they have a intellectual instruction set that they can use on the pitch, and it works every time, and they're all plugged into that same system now. So I think really, like for example, if you take Liverpool, if we keep our head cool, it's gonna give us so many chances. If we just keep our head cool and really try and put as much quality on playing out of the press, we're gonna get a lot of chances against Liverpool.
True.
So sorry.
No, it's all good.
I'll say we can talk about going to fight for a title next year, but it's easier said than done. We're talking about 2 mammoths of the game. We're talking about Liverpool and Man City. And they're going to probably strengthen in the summer as well. Man City will definitely sign a striker. They're talking about bringing in Erling Haaland or someone like that. So do you really believe that we can finish above? Do you think we can actually win the league next season?
It's still football. But do I believe that Conte's philosophy and Conte's approach is better than Pep and Klopp's? Yes. I believe Conte's approach to football. It's not a question of belief, guys. How can you not take, what's the argument? Who has achieved anything coming close to Conte's winning record? I would say nobody. You can say Pep. Pep has spent billions of pounds through these titles. Klopp is nowhere near the achievement of Conte. Conte does it in record time as well, So this is Conte's MO. We're completely following. We're almost like perfectly carbon copy of every time Conte has come into a club and won the league. It's exactly like this. He comes in. There's a lot of problems. He fixes them. Next season, he gets big window. He gets to buy. That one window is enough for him to get it over the line. I truly believe that Conte's football philosophy is superior to both that of Pep and Klopp. And I also believe that Conte's mentality will be stronger than these 2 teams. I think we will handle. Come next. Guys, we have had no preseason with Conte. We were about to ship out half of our squad, we were about to give them for free if we could have, and they're performing like this. You guys talked about the top four being an achievement, looking back at where we were with Nuno, and being an achievement looking back at where we were when Conte came in. Top four is a miracle looking at the squad that we have. That's the truth. We shouldn't be in top four with that squad. The fact that Conte can make these kind of players out of this raw material is it's almost magical. And it also shows, like, the way you see these players be completely insane. Like, our squad is in general not too toxic. I think they're pretty happy lot, even when it's been going badly. But it's so inclusive now. You see it and I'm so happy, especially with Kane. Like, Kane would normally be a little bit annoyed that he wouldn't have scored in the last two games, But now I feel like he doesn't even care. He's just happy to be the assist. Like, he's completely committed to the project. I feel like that. The way they celebrate and include each other and everything. It's a beautiful thing to see. Of course, we like you say, we're going up against Liverpool and Man City next season if everything goes according to plan. And like, my biggest worry is the board if they try to cheap out here or something, which would be the biggest mistake they've ever done financially as well. That's really my only big worry right now. But if we go up against these teams and we fall short, fine. There won't be any shame in it if it's a progression of what we're seeing now. However, I don't see how this like I said it also about Kane. Like, Kane, you heard Conte now. Conte is already talking about we need to find a playmaker so Kane doesn't have to be that player, so we can really unleash Kane. Conte is not like, sees Kane's levels above what we're already seeing Kane, and I truly believe that. I've always thought Kane was one of the best in the world, but I can see how Kane can get like 3 or 4 levels above what we've seen. I can see there's so much potential there if he only gets more regular service. The fact that Kulu is there now means that both Son and Kane are getting more consistent service. But if we get like a really, really top playmaker to be behind Kane as well, Kane is gonna, like I said before, it's gonna be truly historical. Even though it's already historical, it's gonna be historical beyond everything. So.
All right. Love it.
Can't wait till next season now, Johnny.
He's got me all excited.
Till next season.
Got this one to finish first, but come on. Well.
Enjoy the ride out this season. I think that was our hiccups, that first half. I think the focus I think we will stop losing. We won't invite this on again. Like, enjoy the rest of the season. It's going to be a ride. And to be honest, my prediction from now on is that we're going to see just the general improvement. They will keep going, but we'll see a big improvement from Amazon. So, yeah.
Loving the positivity today, Jory. Keep that energy, and we'll see you next time, mate. We'll see you next time.
All right, guys. Take care.
Nice to see you, Jory.
Spurs.
Come on.
The Spurs. That's Jory316, the Joracle, whatever you want to call him. Absolutely brilliant call today.
Do you want to get through these super chats?
Yeah,
Got a few. Ben Kaufman with the member for 9 months. He says, big up everyone in the community. Big up to you, Ben. We actually have another one before that as well.
Will Stewart is the first one.
Where's all the way up there? Oh, bloody hell. Will Stewart says, 19 months member. Big up to all. He says, stat of the day, Son Heung-min is the only player to score 3 goals from 3 shots and one of 2 players to score 2 or more goals with 100% goals to shot. ratio. That's pretty impressive.
Clinical, mate.
Very
Absolutely
clinical. Very clinical. Bob, so we read that one out from Bob's.
Yeah.
Avemar says, "Hey guys, love the Conte ent. Top is ours. Top is ours. Bloody hell! If we maintain momentum and Emerson hopefully will step up. Come on, you Spurs. I'm sure he means top 4. But I don't know if you saw that tweet of how Spurs can still win the title.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, look. City and Liverpool did draw yesterday, so the title is still on, people.
Baby.
The title was still on. Yeah, and Big Ben Kaufman says, big up to everyone in the community. Ryan Isaacs Kennard with a super chat, no message. Big up to you. Alvin Block says, going to my first game on Saturday, sitting in block 423. Come on, you Spurs. What's standard? What is that South?
Yeah, I think we're 324.
Yeah, where's 423? Is that? I don't know where that is.
Sure, to be honest.
Well, look, make sure you come and say hi, Alvin. Faz Radfos says, come on, Alex. We beat City and we will beat Liverpool. I'm sure he's talking to Alex Samuels there. Brandon Troller, big up to Brandon. He says, my beautiful Irish butterfly has had wings clipped by a man most villainous.
I'm just trying to like
imagine him. Yeah. Oh man, you need to come on to say this stuff, man. It doesn't have the same ring to it coming out of my mouth. But fear not, for as he rests in Conte's tender womb, he will gain strength, enriched by Antonio's teat. Too bad Emerson still has no feet. Brilliant. A poet as always, Brandon. I absolutely love that. Faz Radfar says, I had £10 on Everton, Brighton and Spurs to win.
Wow.
I backed Son and Kane as top goal scorer before Christmas. Since 2 weeks ago, I have said Arsenal would finish 8th. Come on, you Spurs. Well, I should call you the Oracle at this point, mate. You had some great predictions. Come on, it's looking that way. And Michael Hellman, big up to you, says, love the team momentum. Big up Spurs. Love all the super chats. Thank you, everyone, for sending them in. Good stuff there. Love it.
Yeah, there's also been some news breaking on Sky Sports News. Well, not really news, but some Arsenal transfer news, actually. Sky Sports saying that Ruben Neves is emerging as Arsenal's top summer transfer target.
Ruben Neves, yeah, and he would be a very good signing if they were to get him. Obviously, he would. Obviously, he's a better player than Xhaka, isn't he? If they had a pivot of Partey and Neves, that would be serious. But obviously, top 4 might hand for that, or the lack of. And he's a type I've said all along I would love at Tottenham. He's the type I think we need in terms of profile. We don't have a player like him right now, who's a serial. Like, he would really help us gain more control of games because of his passing ability, his ability to control games with his the way he keeps the ball ticking over, and his decision making as well. And also his ability to play from deep, and I think he would be more valuable in a 3-5-2 than a 3-4-3. I think, but he would be brilliant there.
In a 3-5-2, would you say Neves, Bentancur, and one of Skip and Højbjerg?
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, and I think he would be brilliant in that role, and good long range shooter as well.
Would be his partner.
I don't know if he starts in a 3-4-3 because that's the problem. Because I think he doesn't have the defensive characteristics of. He's decent defensively, but he's not the level of Bentancur and Højbjerg, I don't think, off the ball. So whether we would continually get overrun is an issue. I think.
Would you prefer him or Tielemans?
I think in games against lower league opposition, not lower bottom half opposition, we can play him there. But against top class teams, like, I wouldn't want him in a 3-4-3. I would like him in a 3-5-2 though. Him or Tielemans.
Assuming that he's going to cost between 50 and 60 million.
Yeah, Tielemans is
about
cheaper.
25 to 30 million.
Yeah, I think based on that, probably go with Tielemans. But I still think Neves is top class. I think they're very similar in terms of ability. I think just money-wise, I guess Tielemans is more viable. But I think if Arsenal would sign Neves, that would be a top-class signing for them.
All right, so is there anyone else? No,
that's it.
Brings an end for the stream today. We'll be back later on today for the Premier League perspective, so keep an eye out for that. So thank you everyone for joining us today. Mammoth stream, nearly 3 hours long. Many super chats and many people calling in and having their say as well. So enjoyed every minute of it, talking about how perfect the weekend was for Tottenham Hotspur, and obviously the devastating news of that Matt Doherty injury. I can't believe I'm actually saying that. Like, it's actually mad that we're thinking like Matt Doherty is going to be a big loss for us because of how terrible he's been, but credit to him because it's all down to him why we're putting him in that conversation now. So credit to Matt Doherty. We wish you a speedy recovery. Thank you everyone for joining us today. Like, subscribe and comment, and as always, come on you Spurs.